What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are making our first video here in Madden 25. Now, some of you guys were wondering when our college football stuff was going to come out, and I was going to start a road to glory pretty soon. I've just been spending a lot of time off camera getting used to the game, so I wanted to do that before I actually started making videos. But because I'm already used to doing Madden stuff, we're doing this during the early release, I guess you can call it. And we're going to be starting off doing a Raiders rebuild here as our first team that we're going to rebuild here in Madden 25. Shout out to Joey, who is a big Raiders fan and is probably my biggest fan also as well, commenting on pretty much all the videos. So Joey, shout out to you. This one's for you. We're going to be doing a Raiders rebuild here with Antonio Pierce as the head coach. Now, I know that Madden was trying to up their game a little bit this year because they have some sort of competition. I mean, it's from within the company at EA Sports with College Football 25, but that game has just blown any of the previous Maddens that we've had, I would say, in the last 3 or 4 years, just out of the water. So here we are. This is the first time for me that I'm seeing all of this stuff. Like everything that you guys might be seeing for the first time, so am I here. The layout is completely different. So first things first, let's set our season goal. I am aware that we kind of have a quarterback battle going on, and I still have to decide who I want my quarterback to be. But either way, right? We don't have Josh McDaniels anymore, and we don't have Jimmy G starting for a handful of games anymore. So I'm going to set the bar high. I'm going to try and see if we can make the playoffs. That is what I'm going to make as our goal to enter this thing. And then let's auto-generate a rookie class. Okay, now, one thing from last year that I really didn't like from Madden was the fact that whenever you started a new rebuild, that auto-generated class in the first year was always the same. So you knew who the good guys were, you knew who the busts were, and I didn't really appreciate that. Now, I'll go through all of this tedious stuff early on, but we'll definitely speed up the process as we are going to just be going through the years of simulation and stuff as we go on. But this is definitely new from last year. And kind of similar to where we were doing this in the podium and in the green room last time. Now we're just doing it out on the practice field. Where is our team the weakest? I'd say offense. The defense for the Raiders is low-key underrated. Like, you definitely have some guys, I would say, even at the cornerback position, like Jack Jones was pretty solid down the stretch. So, you have some dudes. Defense is strong. I would say pass defense, right? I mean, we have a great pass rusher in Max Crosby. It only got better with Christian Wilkins this offseason. And like I mentioned before, with the secondary as well. I'm going to say we'll go pass rush. This year, I'll say pass rush. I don't think that's an underrated group. I think everyone's well aware of the superstars that we have along the line. Let's see. What stat equals success? Ooh, that's interesting. I say combined for 30 sacks. Let's just go for the higher total number, right? If we can get more sacks, I think it'll do much more for the team. So we probably won't be doing that again. Doesn't look like it's that significant. Just us setting out some goals here early on. It looks pretty much the same in terms of like scouting and stuff like that. It hasn't disappeared, so maybe I do need to do this stuff, the region breakdown. Yeah, like there's not a ton that I can do at the moment. And I know I can assign these scouts. Oh, so I can assign these scouts right here. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think we could have done that last year. It is interesting though, because I'm taking a look at the strengths and the weaknesses. And then I go here, and then I can't necessarily see it again, like the strengths and the weaknesses. I'm just going to leave it as is. I don't think it would affect it too much, and, maybe it'll make it a little bit more difficult for us as well. We'll go in and upgrade our players as well. We hopped right into week 1. Jackson Powers Johnson, who I believe is going to be a center for them. Or no, I'm sorry. They are right. He is a guard. He was a center at Oregon and then moved over. So let's take a look at this depth chart here, see what we're working with in terms of overalls. Actually, that is not the layout that I wanted to go to. Everything's different. I seem to have forgotten how to maneuver my way around this game. But here we go. This is what I was looking for. Now, oof. Okay. I know Aiden O'Connell is like not the greatest quarterback, but damn, 67. Yeah, I mean, Minshew's a whole 6 overalls higher. Now, because he is younger, we could see what we have in him, but man, that's a little disrespectful in my opinion. But along the offensive line, not super bad, right? I mean, we have really some huge key pieces here. Andre James is a great center. Colton Miller at left tackle. JPJ, there's their rookie, and then Cody Whitehair and Andres Pete. Those are your two like veteran presences. Now, this was an interesting pick to me when it happened. I really thought that they were going to go tackle here because Andres Pete, yes, he does have experience, but not the most talented guy. I thought that they were going to kind of focus on that position early on, but instead went with Brock Bowers, who I think many would consider to be the best tight end prospect that we've seen in a long time. And I think he's even better than a guy like TJ Hawkinson, who's on my favorite team, the Vikings, and went in the top 10. You know, it doesn't happen often. Even Brock Bowers didn't go in the top 10, but I think he's going to be worth the pick. I mean, that's game-changing player. Devontae Adams, obviously, Jacoby Myers, and then this running back room, like Zamir White, I think they're banking on him in real life, and Madison's kind of just that backup guy, but obviously in terms of experience, Madden feels a little bit different, so we'll see how that plays out. And to be honest, as a Vikings fan, not a huge Alexander Madison fan, so I think this is one where I'm kind of more willing to put Zamir White over the top, just because he's a younger player, and I do want to see what we have in him instead. And then Trey Tucker is our wide receiver 3. Taking a look, 3-4 defense here. Again, we talked about these two guys, Christian Wilkins, Max Crosby. They're going to be huge for us. And then, of course, Jack Jones, Nate Hobbs. Nate Hobbs probably regarded as one of the better slot corners. And then when we take a look at this back end of the field, doesn't look super enticing. I mean, we have Tommy Eichenberg here, Robert Spillane. And should Spillane even be playing outside linebacker? I think he's probably better off just as a regular linebacker, but obviously there is a lack of depth along all of our linebacking positions. So I think that's one where I think I'm going to try and get another middle linebacker before the season starts, because that is absolutely not acceptable. And these two guys should both be superstars. I don't know if they haven't dealt superstar abilities to special teamers in this Madden, because of course this is the first time that I'm hopping into this. But these two guys definitely deserve to be superstars at the very least, because you could argue that these two guys are near the top of their position, if not the top. Okay, specialists. So again, like Zamir White, I think we can keep Madison here as our 3-down running back, and then our power back, maybe we put Zamir White in. Like, I mean, I know how Madden goes. They're going to just readjust the order anyway, so I don't know how long that's going to last. But obviously, there's a lot in progress here with this team. Now, let's take a look here and take a look if there's any free agents that we can pick up here. Now, ooh, interesting, because there are still some very, very good veterans here, and I did not think about that. Now, Justin Simmons would be an instant upgrade here. No one has paid him yet. If we have the salary cap for it, we'll sign him. That's exactly what we're going to do. Let's go ahead here and just bring in these big-name players. I think Gilmore would be a great addition here. I mean, I know we talked about having a good cornerback room, but it doesn't hurt to add another guy. So we'll go ahead and add Stephon Gilmore here. He's instantly going to be our number 1 cornerback. Okay, Micah Hyde's interesting, but we just signed Justin Simmons. I'm trying to think, do we really, really need anyone else? Like, maybe we could sign Charles Leno and put him over Andres Pete, but if I'm being completely honest, I think the online play would be the same, even if we bring in this guy, so we'll allocate our funds elsewhere. Now, let's take a look at this middle linebacker spot. And to be honest, I don't know how Justin Simmons or Stephon Gilmore haven't been signed yet. Maybe it's on their end a scheme thing. Maybe it's how much money that they're receiving from certain teams. But we know how talented both of those guys are. So obviously there's more than just their play on the field, because I think that might be one of the last reasons why they haven't been signed. But we move on. And then I think here, I mean, not a ton of options. Nick Kwiatkowski is a former Raider. You know what? Let's bring him back. I mean, we could bring in Alexander Johnson, former Denver Bronco, but let's bring in a familiar face to the building here. So we have 3 guys that we need to cut now. Let's go ahead and take care of those responsibilities. I mean, yeah, I hate to break it to you guys. You 3, yeah, probably weren't going to be seeing the field anyway. So I like the additions that we brought in. Let's take a look at the trade center. I think it would be irresponsible of me not to take a look at that. And to keep it as realistic as possible, I'm only going to look at guys on the trade block who are being made available by their teams, and not just, you know, trading for, I don't know, like a Patrick Mahomes or something like that, or a Justin Jefferson. Like, very unrealistic, right? So let's take a look. Ooh, there are quite a bit of running backs. If we are struggling at the running back department, because we know that there obviously isn't a ton of respect coming from Madden in regards to that group, we definitely have some options there if need be. But taking a look at the rest of these options, I mean, nothing super enticing at the moment. And I think it's going to stay that way. Okay, so I'm happy with how the team looks. I mean, week 1, we just signed some of the better veterans out there who are yet to come to some deals there in real life. Obviously on the defensive side of the ball. But let's go ahead, update this roster. There we have Justin Simmons and Stephon Gilmore. We just added 2 superstars right off the bat, and then another starter here in Nick Kwiatkowski at the middle linebacker position. So let's go ahead and simulate. I'm going to go ahead and go to the midseason mark, and that's going to kind of be the theme of this, I guess, how we're going to rock, where we're going to just go to that midseason point, then go to the playoffs and, kind of just simulate this thing and try and do a full rebuild. We'll see how long. I want to say we'll go around maybe 4 years or so. I think that would be a reasonable time period before, if we're not doing good, we might get fired or something. So where can we see what our record is? We are 2-5 right now. So now we're at a point, because, I mean, we don't have that quarterback, and I don't think we're going to be much more competitive. I think I will start Aiden O'Connell. I don't think we're going to be winning a Super Bowl this year, let alone making the playoffs. So this might have to be a spot where these guys who are ending on contracts, we might have to just trade them away. So Trevon Merrick, I think, we could trade him, and I think he'd get some good value. This is a young player that I think I want to keep around, so we will keep Trevon Merrick here. Nate Hobbs is another one of those players I definitely want to keep around. He's already pretty interested in coming back, so we gave him a 5-year deal as well. These 2 guys, we brought them in to win now. But obviously, that's not happening. So if there's interest, I will look to trade them. Robert Spillane as well. Team captain, I totally understand. But 28 years old, demanding $8 million a year. I just don't think I can do it. I mean, if he was a star, we could think about it. But yeah, not really feeling that one too much. Yeah, Marcus Epps as well. I mean, you could view that as good value, but I'm not really feeling it. Okay, so let's go ahead here and see what we can get for Justin Simmons. I mean, he is pretty good. Now, wow, these are some pretty good offers. I mean, right off the bat, T. Higgins and a couple of mid-round picks. Ooh, okay, we really have to sit and think about these ones. I mean, a 2026 second-round pick and Zaven Collins as well. Asante Samuel. Wow, okay. Very interesting. I mean, and again, this is still a 90 overall superstar, which makes me wonder why no one picked him up, but he obviously has some value and interest around the league. But we have some really enticing offers here, so we have to make sure that we make the right move here. Tank Dell would be interesting. I mean, you get a second and a third as well. Harrison Smith. I was really enticed by this Asante Samuel one, just because he's 24 years old, already 85 overall. Rashee Rice was another one, but I don't think we really need wide receiver. I'm super intrigued. Wow, Diamador Lenore's at 83 overall. That just doesn't even. I don't think that's right, to be quite honest with you. But Tank Dell. Wow. Okay, we have some real options. The only thing that's holding me back from taking this Asante Samuel trade, honestly, is the fact that we're not getting higher draft picks like we are in some of these other deals. So let me see what I can get for Stephon Gilmore first. I don't know if he's going to get as much interest. He is a superstar, but is 33 years old. So that's going to be a tough one. Wow. Imagine we had Cole Kmet. We have Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, and Cole Kmet. That would certainly be something. Okay. So obviously these ones are not as good, but we still do have some pretty talented guys here nonetheless. I wouldn't mind Jamin Davis. That would be a young player at a position of need, and he is transitioning to sort of a pass rushing role, like how they did for Micah Parsons, who went from middle linebacker to outside linebacker. So we could potentially explore those possibilities. Drake London, that's an interesting one. Kayvon Thibodeau, I think Thibodeau honestly would be better than a Jamin Davis. Ooh, wow. Hey, this is fun. I mean, we definitely have some options here. I hope none of you guys are getting impatient with me. Like, these are some really important decisions that we have to make here. A 2027 second round pick. I mean, who knows where that's going to be at that point. So I think here I think I'm going to try and bank on the potential of a Kayvon Thibodeau. That's exactly what we're going to do here. We are obviously building for the future with a move like that. So let's go ahead back over to Justin Simmons and see what we can get for him as well. And to think that we picked up these guys for free, I mean, this is just absolutely ridiculous value. So let's see. I definitely want to pick up another younger player. And I mean, we could do something like this where maybe we just value the picks more. And I mean, honestly, I'm not afraid to do that. I just like, I like Asante Samuel, but I just don't like the fact that we're not getting at least a third like how we are from some of these other offers. Like, I think Diamador Lenore would be so much more intriguing because we also get a second round pick for this year, and he's only 2 overalls lower, which, again, like, I don't understand at all. Tank Dell would be so interesting as well. Oh my goodness. Okay, so what I am going to do here is I am going to take this trade with Diamador Lenore because not only do we get a sufficient cornerback to kind of replace where Stephon Gilmore once was, but we also get a second round and a 4th round pick for this year. I know it's not great name value here, but again, like, look at how young this guy is, and we're going to extend him. I'll give him a 6-year deal to play when he's 30 years old. He said he can't commit. So do we just trade for Hassan Reddick? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we did. Maybe Diamador Lenore is going to hold out, and he's never going to play a down for this team. I'm just kidding. That's not going to happen. But that whole thing going on in New York is just absolutely ridiculous right now. Okay, let's see. What do we want to do here? Any valuable picks? I mean, that's kind of what I'm looking at first. Noah Brown would be interesting. Like, any of these guys that we pick up, right, I think would be instant starters, like even like a Darnell Mooney, but he's getting paid a little bit more than, I would like. A 5th round pick in Jamal Agnew, 5th round pick in Tutu Atwell. Not too high on either of those guys, to be quite honest with you. I think we're going to just keep Robert Spillane for now. I don't see anything too enticing with that. Let's see if we can trade Madison. Not a huge Alexander Madison fan. I talked about that earlier. No offers, and neither is anyone else apparently. So I think what I'm going to do, because I want to make sure that the guy that we just traded for, Diamador Lenore, he does end up playing for us in the long term. I don't want to just trade for him just for the season, because I mean, if we didn't make it evident enough, we're definitely just gonna tank. Now, very interesting as we take a look at the roster, because we just got a notification that Brock Bowers just has an ability, and there it is. He is a superstar, so that is a huge addition to the team. But more importantly, actually, I wouldn't say more importantly, but also notable news, we are going to be benching Gardner Minshew in favor of Aiden O'Connell because of the struggles that this team has had. So let's go ahead and make this the best available lineup. Diamador Lenore is rated as our best cornerback on the team. We do have to go back and make Aiden O'Connell the starting quarterback. But again, no hurt in trading a guy like Justin Simmons or Stephon Gilmore, because they weren't originally on our team prior to week 1. And they aren't anymore here at the midseason mark just because of a change of pace from where we anticipated we would be at the end of this year. So let's advance 1 week. Hey, maybe we can have another upset like they did on Christmas and beat the Chiefs. No, instead, we get shut out 29-0. So, maybe Aiden O'Connell isn't the answer either. Let's bump it up a couple million right there. It's not even a million, it's just a couple 100,000. And Diamador Lenore remains a Las Vegas Raider for the next 6 years. So securing the youth of that position there, and we are going to just go to the playoffs. I doubt we're going to make it. Hey, crazier things have happened. Maybe it's possible. But yeah, I mean, it's not looking good for us. And, we knew, and I mean, as it stands right now, we know that, Gardner Minshew at best is a mid-level quarterback if he's playing at his best. And Aiden O'Connell's a guy with a ton of potential, but obviously when you're playing with a 67 overall quarterback in Madden, it doesn't necessarily go well. And we finished the season with a 3-14 campaign. So, hey, we might already be on the hot seat. I'm not sure. I don't know if they can fire the coaches like they do in College Football 25, but this is obviously not a good start here for the Antonio Pierce regime as the full-time head coach of this roster. So I could go ahead and fire some of my coordinators and we change our playbooks. But to be quite honest with you, with the roster that we had, and I'm really focusing on that quarterback spot, I don't think it's fair to our coordinators to say, hey, like, y'all got to go. And I mean, even our defensive coordinator, like, we saw our linebackers, they were just god awful. So I'm going to just leave it as is. We're going to go to the offseason. I don't care about this playoff picture. We went 3-14. If we don't have the number 1 pick, I don't know what to tell you. Now, our plan, priority 1, obviously, is to go out there and find ourselves a franchise quarterback, because obviously the guys in place right now, they're not cutting it. So we have to go ahead and make sure we find that franchise guy in the draft. If there isn't a guy that we really, really love in the draft, we're going to trade back and just get more assets and try and find our quarterback elsewhere. Maybe rock with the same guys again. I don't know, depending on how they developed. But let's go ahead and upgrade the players. Again, I'm not going to focus too much on like the awards and stuff like that, because, I mean, it's irrelevant to us. It is. And, hopefully there comes a time in this video where we are relevant and those things do matter. But let's quickly take a look at the stats. So Aiden O'Connell had a better year than Gardner Minshew, and I mean, it's just trash versus trash, really. I mean, there's not a huge difference in their stats. Everything is just off by a tick, but he did throw 400 more yards. Wait a minute. Did you guys see that? Whoa. Garoppolo. Oh, you know what must have happened? I think Matthew Stafford retired. That's what happened, because there's no way. Madison ran for 830 yards. Zamir White, again, both these guys ran for 3.4 per carry. Like, that's just not good. Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers had relatively similar seasons, and this is a really underwhelming season for Devontae Adams, but it mainly plays into the fact that our quarterback play is less than ideal. Blocking, let's see, Colton Miller gave up 12 sacks, but kind of usual for both of your tackles to be giving up a high number of sacks, so I'm not surprised by that. Robert Spillane led the team in tackles, so maybe it was a good decision that we didn't end up trading him. Leading us in tackles for loss was Tyree Wilson. That's huge, because this is a former top 10 pick that we're waiting to see produce. And look, maybe he's not super great in the pass rushing department, but if we can get a guy who's going to go in the backfield, stuff the run, I think that is equally as effective in its own way. Christian Wilkins also follows that with 15, and to lead us in sacks is Max Crosby with 12 sacks, and everyone else is just scraping the bottom of the barrel. Leading us in interceptions was DeCamerion Richardson, Nate Hobbs, and Diamador Lenore, a 3-way tie. So good to see our secondary producing as we anticipated it to. Let's take a look at kicking. Daniel Carlson had a horrible year. Oh my goodness. He went 12 for 20, hitting on 60% of his field goals. And AJ Cole had a phenomenal year there with 51.1 average yards per punt. So that is that. Oof, rough year. Really rough year. And, there wasn't a whole lot more we could have done. I mean, we brought in 2 superstars in the defensive end. And, nothing was going to happen to save this team. So we're going to go ahead and advance the week. It was the Jaguars and the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Again, we don't care who won because it's not us. Now let's go ahead and take a look here at guys that we could potentially re-sign. We are going to accept the 5th-year option of Kayvon Thibodeau. Robert Spillane, I think he had a great year for us, but $7.5 million for a 29-year-old linebacker, I can't do it, to be quite honest with you guys. Madison is definitely not coming back despite him being our leading rusher. Yeah, I think we need to just let those guys go. And I really, there's no hesitation for me to do that. Now let's take a look at our team salaries. We're going to try and create some more cap space here with some of the guys on roster. So Devontae Adams still here. We definitely have to keep him around. I mean, unless he went down in depth rate, which he did, maybe we have to start thinking about it. But with a young rookie quarterback potentially coming in, you really want to have a guy like that still, and he's one of our better players. Now, is there anyone who's making more money than they? Okay, like Gardner Minshew, okay? I'd rather just go without him because Aiden O'Connell, although it wasn't much better, proved to be better than Gardner Minshew, so we really don't need him on this roster anymore. Let's see, anyone else? I mean, there's a legitimate reason to cut Daniel Carlson after the way that he played. But I know that he's a fan favorite, so we'll kind of just keep him around. And really, this is a good year for him to suck because it really didn't matter. Like, the team was garbage anyway, so why not join the party and all the fun? Okay, so that's about it. Gardner Minshew is our one cap casualty this offseason. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at free agency. This is the first time that I'm going to be taking a look at this, and it looks pretty much the same as it did the year before. Nick Bolton's a really interesting one coming over from Kansas City. And how about that? Justin Simmons, I mean, where did we trade him to? I think it was the 49ers, and he doesn't even sign back with them. So that's huge. I mean, we basically fleeced them. Now, no quarterbacks here. Mac Jones would be an interesting one. Like, I wouldn't mind signing him kind of as a flyer right here. Like, hey, this is another chance for a former first-round pick to try and redeem himself because, you know, New England didn't do much justice for him. So if we have some active negotiations left, I wouldn't mind it, honestly. Running backs, okay. Like, this is another position where it's very thin right now, and I think I'd rather just test the draft instead. We really don't need any wide receivers. Our group is pretty solid. Maybe we could pick up a third wide receiver. Like, we did have Trey Tucker, but obviously he didn't progress a ton. Still 75 overall. So, Kadarius Toney is a star, but having Odell Beckham as a normal is insane to me. I mean, I think we'd all take Odell Beckham over him. Okay. David Bakhtiari. Ooh. I mean, we could. I mean, he's a superstar. I honestly wouldn't mind that. I know it's $17 million, but hey, you pay guys like this, and it's Madden. I don't think he's going to get as hurt as often as he does in real life. I mean, it's a high caliber player right there, in my opinion. Let's see. We could go ahead and get another guard. I mean, it really wouldn't hurt. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, these guys are really old. I wouldn't want to pay them that kind of money. Okay, so that's not a bad spot to look at there with the tackle spot with David Bakhtiari. I do want to pay a guy like Nick Bolton. I think that this is a pretty good player. I'd be willing to give him this much money, to be quite honest with you guys. So let's see how much of an influence that has. Not much of any. So we're going to withdraw from there because he has no interest in being with this team. So it is what it is. I mean, maybe we can try and take a look at bringing in another guy, but like Isaiah Simmons, like again, like so many of these guys, it's just like you're better off just looking in the draft, you know? I mean, a lot of these guys are just good for depth for the most part. Maybe we bring back Justin Simmons. I mean, no one has offered him yet, and he would definitely be starting on our team. So I think I'll sign him to another 1-year deal, see where that takes us. I wouldn't mind bringing him back, as I just mentioned. Okay. Kicker, maybe. Nah, again, no one at like high overalls. Okay. And so because we do have like that opening now, do we try to bring in another wide receiver? Like, I just don't want to be in a bidding war with a lot of these guys, right? Maybe we bring in OBJ as a third option? I'm considering it, honestly. But I don't know. I mean, like, Trey Tucker is like not that far off. So what we'll do here is we'll bring in Mac Jones. Honestly, a 3-year deal is not... Actually, no. With that kind of money, yeah, no. I'd rather just make it a 1-year deal. 1-year deal, $8 million. Okay, let's go to our targeted guys here. Not a whole lot to be desired here in this free agency, but if we can get, you know, 2 still high-caliber players nearing the end of their career, but, I mean, these guys would definitely help us try and bring up those win totals. Let's go ahead and offer them here, and let's see. We got 3 for 3 right here. Justin Simmons is back. So we ended up getting Diamador Lenore, a 2nd and a 4th round pick for Justin Simmons just to get him back a few weeks later in free agency. David Bakhtiari is going to shore up that right side or maybe that left side of the offensive line, replacing Colton Miller, and he can move over to the right side. And then Mac Jones will be sort of like our bridge quarterback if we don't find that guy in the draft. But at least we upgrade at the position at the very least, and we're doing something to address that dire need. So unfortunately, I don't think that there's going to be much more than that to do for us. Let's see. So there is a quarterback here, and we do know his talent. So that's interesting because we do know the talent of these quarterbacks, and that's very interesting. Which one guy here is projected from round 1 to 2. So let's take a look at him real quick. Marcus Horn. Beautiful spiral on all his passes. Could use some improvement at recognizing pressure. Does very well to avoid sacks by throwing the ball away. Vast majority of his success comes from within the pocket and a fast flick of the wrist throwing motion. Now, it doesn't seem like he's the most mobile guy. Yeah, poor acceleration, decent speed. Very interesting. But he does have a strong arm. I mean, that is his archetype. And when you take a look, he is second in the bench press as well. So again, because this is a guy, and now granted, he is ranked number 2 on the big board, but he is a round 1 to 2 talent. I mean, we might not really have a choice here, and we might have to take him anyway here at that spot. But again, we'll wait for those pro day numbers to come out. We'll see how much they match the current numbers, see if any of those numbers improved. And, that could really change the way that we look at this entire thing. So I don't want to skip over those private workouts, which I believe we should still have here in this game. Because I do want to work out some more of those guys, just in case we do end up trading back and acquiring more picks. Doesn't hurt to be more prepared. So private workouts, there it is. Perfect. And we do have some trade offers, which I don't know who for, but that's interesting. So I think, where are we drafting here? If I'm not mistaken, we should have the number 1 overall pick. So that's first things first. Let's take a look at where exactly we're drafting. For any of you guys who are ever looking for this, you can go to your roster here, and then your draft picks should be here. So we are picking number 2 in this year's draft. The fact that someone did worse than us at 3 and 14 is absolutely diabolical. But okay, so that's interesting. That is interesting. So we'll do Paul Dunn because we don't know everything about him. I don't want to draft a tackle early here in Madden. I think it's fine in real life, but yeah, no, not in Madden. Like, they just don't make that much of an impact. And then like Jeff Miner doesn't look that good. Neither does Dennis Jones, to be quite honest with you guys. But these guys are regarded as top 5 talent. So again, balancing all these things out. Interesting. I do like Nick Humphrey. He's got some good stuff going on for him there. The cornerbacks are not bad as well. Okay, so I know cornerback's not a huge need, but look, when you're this bad, you just take the good players, and that's how you work your way up. So I think I'm going to take a look at Hugh Andrews. We're going to take off Dennis Jones, because to be honest, Dennis Jones doesn't look that good to me. You can't have 2 D-graded things and expect me to take you in the top 5. So we'll take a look at him, and then I think also Nick Humphrey as well, because middle linebacker is still definitely a position of need. We don't need to know much more on the quarterbacks because we are already well aware of what their talents are. Okay, so mock draft 5, and look, we are projected to get him, and that's because Tennessee is drafting first, and they have Will Levis as their franchise quarterback at the moment. Now, it says that Marcus Horn is around 2 to 3 talent. Very interesting. Did I miss that? Oh, yeah, wow. So his talent actually went down. So this is interesting because, again, there is potential that these guys could slip in the draft. Like, these guys are all rated within the top 10, but all have day 2 talent. And again, I don't want to draft a quarterback just for the sake of taking one. Now, is it unfortunate that this is the case in the scenario? Absolutely. Like, if we could have gotten our guy, I would have definitely secured that. But like, it doesn't look that promising. Now, David Bakhtiari is already getting interest, and Cooper Kupp, yo. Hey, I might have to take this, guys. I'm not even gonna lie. Christian Gonzalez? Oh my goodness. Okay, you know what? No. A lot of these are positions that we don't really need. So, maybe he's getting interest because he's listed as second on the depth chart. I could definitely see Madden doing something like that. Okay, so I'm going to move him to right tackle because it's only because of morale right now that Colton Miller is significantly lower in overall. So we'll move him to the right side to help solidify that O-line. Honestly, guys, I think the move here in this year's draft is to trade back. If he was a round 1, round 2 talent, I definitely would have just considered just sticking and picking him right where it is. Don't even mess around with the quarterback potentially not being there. And ooh, what is this? We have a cut screen here. This looks like it might be like a hype video here for like the NFL draft or something like that. Hopefully the video doesn't get copyrighted for this. I mean, it shouldn't, right? I don't know. I'd be pretty upset if it was. Oh yeah, there we have some combine footage here from NFL media. Green room stuff or draft room stuff. I don't have the audio on, but they're obviously probably talking about Brock Purdy and how he was a steal, and you can really get any of these type of guys here in the draft. Wow, okay. Hey, I like the video. I like the video. I haven't done any gameplay yet, so I can't say much on the game. But, oh, wow. Look at this. We have like a full-on draft board. Roger Goodell, I think he might be opening the draft. Okay. Oh, wow. So that was quick. So immediately Paul Dunn is right off the board. Like, if we wanted to trade up to the #1 pick, which I wouldn't have, because, again, I just don't think it's fair against the computer. But we had no opportunity to do so. I mean, they said, hey, we ain't trading this goddamn pick. We're going to take our guy, and we're not answering any phone calls. So what can we do here? This is an interesting one here because we would pick up another first-round pick, and acquire the #10 pick as well in this year's draft. So I honestly wouldn't mind that one. This is an interesting one. We can get 3 first-round picks from the Rams. And what's interesting about their situation, because, I mean, we saw this by sheer chance, they don't have Matthew Stafford anymore. And they're just as desperate to get a quarterback as we are. So I can't imagine that they would be good. You know, opposed to, like, the Lions. Like, the Lions, they're trending upwards. So, you know, can't say the same for them. Wow, that would be really interesting here. Like, San Fran's extremely talented. Philadelphia is extremely talented. I think I'm going to have to take this. Now, it kind of just depends on where I want to land, right? We have pick 19 over here, and we have pick 10 here from the Seahawks, and that's why we kind of looked at those guys down the board just because we knew that there was a chance that we were going to trade down in this year's draft, and that's exactly what is going to happen here. So let's take a look here, and we're going to just say we'll make our selection right now just so we can look at the board. But there's the quarterbacks right there. Yikes. I mean, again, if one of these guys falls to the next round, we can consider it. Like, we'll do an evaluation there. But what do we want to do here? Like, we still have a guy, like Minor. Did we focus on him? I think he might have been that guy that had the 2 Ds, I think. Yeah, not totally sure. I mean, it's interesting to see this because it wasn't like this last year. Yeah, I mean, a whole different layout. So let's see. I think Jones was definitely the guy that I think I would have looked at. Oh, no. Jones was the guy that I was like, nah, not him. Maybe it was Jeff Miner. Did we take a look at him? Yeah, I mean, again, none of these guys are really like blowing me away where I'm just like, damn, like we absolutely need to get one of these guys. Now, middle linebacker is one of those spots that I was taking a look at, and I said, hey, you know, maybe we can take a look at what we potentially have here. Oh, wow. Now, Nick Humphrey, the guy that we did a full evaluation on, is a top 5 talent. Oh, my God. Holy crap. Okay. Honestly, wow. Because, I mean, we do have 2 second-round picks, too. Like, oh, wow. That guy looks great. Now, we have some other guys down the board here. Like, they don't look as good. But, man, I mean, wow. I mean, we know that this guy's a top 5 talent. So let's take a look here. Okay, and then, oh wow, also Hugh Andrews. This is another guy that we fully scouted that is also top 5 talent. So hey, I might have an eye for talent. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I mean, this guy again, like we don't need the cornerback position as much. So, oh, I know some of you guys might be upset at me for this. But honestly, if there's a good player, and I stand by this all the time, you take them. And we know for sure here that Nick Humphrey at middle linebacker, who's going to be at the heart and soul of this defense, is a top 5 talent. As long as he's hidden, that's going to be a win for us. I'm going to go ahead here and select Nick Humphrey here. We got Stud Finder. I hope that means that he's hidden. We'll sit through this one because this is our pick. There's Nick right there. Not the apparel that I thought he would have been in. Pretty funny, but hey, I like this. I mean, look at that. They have his name on the jersey. They have him taking a picture with Goodell. I will say, these are the little details that we are taking a look at here. He was ranked #1 in true value, and we got him at #2. So maybe I was cooking when I said, hey, let's take a look at this guy. I think he looks pretty good. yeah, this was the best dude in the entire draft. So the scouting report says quick enough to stay with most tight ends and halfbacks, high football IQ routinely on display, and he's a dependable tackler. He is hidden and has 91 acceleration and 88 speed. At middle linebacker is absolutely ridiculous. I think Devontae Adams might be at 88 speed now, so maybe he could cover him. But Nick Humphrey, again, guys, I'm a huge believer where it's like if you feel like you have a stud in your hands, don't trade back for quantity, because ultimately the quality of the player that you're going to get is going to be much better than, having 3 average players. Now we are here in the second round. Now this is where we're going to try and take a look to see if there is a quarterback that we potentially want here. So taking a look at the quarterbacks, here it is. I mean, round 3 to 4 talent is the highest. And then we have a couple of day 3 guys down there. And so again, I know that it's going to be tough to go through another season like this, right? But again, like, we are trying to set up for the future, and taking a guy for the sake of taking a guy just because of how much we need a position is not the way to go. I do not believe in that as well. So I think right here, let's just try and address some more of those needs. Like running back is definitely still of need for this team. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to just go down position by position. Not a huge fan of receiving backs. Like, I want a pure runner. You know what I mean? So let's take a look here at LaMichael Franklin here out of Florida. Not super great attribute, so maybe we will have to take a look at guys like this. I mean, you never know, right? I mean, like, these guys could be pretty good. But again, like, I'm never really blown away by the attributes from these receiving backs. Although, see, like, this guy looks really good, right? Really good change in direction, really good straight line speed as well. So that might be one that we take right there with these running backs kind of being at the top of the board. We already have our first glitch there where it's not resetting. Okay, we didn't take a look at Levi Pitts yet. So I think we'll take a look at him, and then we'll look at one more running back after that. Levi, oh, wow. He looks pretty good. Okay, Levi Pitts, and then we have over here Darrell Jackson. This is the last guy that I want to take a look at. Woo! Oh, this is just straight up speed. Oh, wow. Okay. Ooh, a lot on the line here. I mean, there's a lot of good running backs, and I'm really having a hard time just saying, like, oh yeah, like, this is definitely my guy. But I mean, Jackson, I mean, again, that's just pure speed that you're looking at right there. So there were 3 guys that I was looking at, right? Joe Mayberry right here. I mean, this dude's really fast too. My gut is telling me no, to be quite honest with you guys. So I think it's going to be between these 2 guys right here. We have Levi Pitts here. Again, he looks pretty solid. Like, elite jumping, that means the dude's got some really powerful legs. Change of direction isn't as good as some of the other guys. Okay, look, I'm going to take a chance here. He is lower on the board, but I think I am going to go with Darrell Jackson here. I do think that that's going to be our running back of the future. Do we like guys like this? I mean, we still do have a couple of guys here at the safety spot, which, again, like, we don't necessarily need, but I want to just make sure that I'm bringing in good players at the end of the day. So I'm going to do my research here. Yeah, I mean, I'm not super blown away by those guys either. Wow. Okay. Let's go ahead here. Go back to that running back spot. And I think what we're going to do here is take Darrell Jackson here out of UCF. He's got the speed. First in the 40-yard dash amongst all pro days, amongst the NFL Combine participants. Let's do it. Darrell Jackson here. We don't have to watch this every single time. So the number 14 player in true value, and we got him at 34. I am absolutely cooking right now. Scouting report, slick feet, explosive juke move, will utilize spin to avoid defenders, and soft and reliable hands. Please tell me that he is hidden. Oh my goodness, he is. 94 speed, 91 acceleration. Darrell Jackson is the running back of the future. I hope that can really elevate our offense and, the way that we look there. But again, until we get that quarterback, it's going to be hard to tell how good some of these guys really are. But my goodness, this is a great start to our first draft as general manager here of the Raiders. Now, there are a couple of safeties here. And again, like, this isn't a huge position of need. But again, like, we want to just make sure that we're bringing in high quality players. Now, I do want to take a look back at the depth chart and make sure that I am bringing in the right guys. So let's take a look at this lineup here and see what exactly we're missing. Like, we could rock with Parham there. Again, we could look to bring in another wide receiver here. Another middle linebacker wouldn't help. Maybe an offensive linebacker or outside linebacker. I'm sorry, not offensive. Okay. Definitely have some decisions to make. I'm so happy with the way this draft is going. I mean, we got the number 1 overall player, and then we got the number 14 overall player there at 34. So I don't think I took a look at any of these safeties yet. Again, I'm going to make an emphasis on this time and time again. I am literally looking to bring in good players. When you are a team this bad, okay, forget need, because almost everywhere is a goddamn need. But again, like, these guys have to really blow me away to be like, hey, like, yeah, I definitely want to bring in one of these guys, because they're not going to be as utilized as some of those other spots. So let's take a look. We'll try to take a look at those tabs as well. Where do we want to go? So let's take a look at wide receiver, and then let's go to combine. Let's go by who had a really fast 40 time. So we have these two guys right here. We have Brian Brown here, projected to be a round 3 or 4 guy with the fastest 40-yard dash. This is a really good addition here to franchise. You got to give him credit when it's due. Like, that is definitely something that a lot of people are going to be utilizing. Like, I'll do that for the offensive line as well. Although, looking at an offensive lineman wouldn't be a bad idea, to be quite honest with you guys. Let's see. Who's got a really good bench press right here? So we got a couple of guys here. Let's take a look at Pierce, okay, because he was already the highest on the board. Robbie Pierce. Yeah, I mean, not super great, to be honest. Let's take a look at the right guards now. Let's see. Okay, we can take a look here at Riley Taylor here. He looks a lot better. But the bench press, I mean, that's something that we're looking for. We're looking for some strong dudes, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the offensive line. We ain't playing around here. Okay, maybe we try and get like a middle linebacker duo going on here. Do we do physicals? No, we did attributes. Yeah, we did attributes. So let's take a look at some of these traits. Like, this guy, he has some pretty good traits right here. Chris Robertson. He is 226, so a little bit undersized, but definitely has some good speed and would certainly be the number 2 linebacker here for our team. What else are we looking at here? Alex Douglas. And I understand that these guys are a round or 2 projected later in round 3 or 4, but like, I mean, we're not that far off. We're at the back end of the second round here. So I'll take a look at the outside linebackers, right? I mean, we're trying to be really tedious with our process here to make sure that we're bringing in the correct players here. But I don't see anyone attribute-wise that I'm super intrigued by. So let's go ahead here, and I believe it was Alex Douglas, right? Was it Alex Douglas that we were looking at? No, it wasn't him. It was Robertson. So we'll bring in Robertson or Morrison. Oh, my God, guys. A lot of names to remember. Yeah, it was Morrison, right? Just good speed, first and second there in the 40-yard dash. All right, let's go. Philip Morrison is our 3rd pick of this year's draft. We got pretty much good value, drafted right where he should be. Shows good speed for a linebacker, can be trusted to make tackles in the open field, and looks comfortable when dropping into zone. He is unfortunately normal, but 91 acceleration, 89 speed. That is definitely something that we can work with. And again, he's going to be our 2nd linebacker, so it's not a big deal. Like, we got our guy, so hopefully he will benefit from playing alongside him. But what do we want to do with this final pick here? So taking a look at the top of the board, we still could look to go wide receiver. I wouldn't mind trying to bring in another guy because we are kind of lacking in depth there. So let's take a look at those combine numbers again. And really, I mean, maybe we just bring in Brian Brown. Like, this dude is just straight up fast. He would be a slot receiver here. And we're just purely banking off of his speed. So we're going to go with Brian Brown here in the 3rd round. That's going to be our final pick here. Definitely reached for this one. He does have 94 speed, 96 excel, so that wasn't a great pick. But again, like, we're just banking totally off of speed because we know how much the game utilizes speed, right, more than anything else at those type of positions. So I'm pretty happy with the way that this draft went. Okay, maybe it didn't go so well in the mid rounds and we didn't get our franchise quarterback, but despite that, I think we still went in and got some very high quality starters with Mac Jones as our quarterback. There is Darrell Jackson there as our running back one, and to complement him will be Zamir White. And then taking a look here, holy shit. Nick Humphrey is an 83 overall rookie. And again, we knew he's the number one player in this year's draft, but 83 overall, this is one of the best players that I've ever drafted in Madden, like hands down. Okay, that is fantastic. Again, we're going to just bank on the fact that maybe Mac Jones can just be at least a little bit better than the two guys that we had last year. And if the same thing happens like how it did with Gardner Minshew, maybe Aiden O'Connell plays the second half of the year again. I mean, at this point, does it really matter? Like, at least Mac Jones has star development, so he can still potentially turn into something. But yeah, I mean, it's not looking great at that position. Again, I think I made the right move. I don't think I need to justify myself. Like, I feel like if you're going to draft a quarterback, you have to make, like, let's use an example. Kenny Pickett or like a Daniel Jones. Like, we knew when they drafted these guys, like, these are not top tier quarterback prospects, but they took them anyway because they had really no choice. And you just don't want to be in that position. I just think it's better to just take your chances and be patient and wait for another draft. And look, who knows what we have in Mac Jones. So we'll see. Maybe he'll do better in this offense than he has in previous years. Now, this year, I mean, let's just be average, okay? I would like to make the playoffs again, but I mean, even 4 wins, if we chose that one, that's still an improvement from last year. So we're going to auto-generate another rookie class as we head here into the second year of our rebuild. I don't know how important it is going to be to bring in some of those free agents like we did last year, and I can't imagine that the class would be equivalent to, you know, what we saw last year. But let's take a look anyway. You know, I mean, I'm not, yeah, and again, it's not even close. So I think we're going to just enter year one with the roster that you just saw and take our chances with that. So hopefully Mac Jones has a year. We're going to simulate to midseason again. But hey, I'm so excited with the rookies that we brought in. And like, in terms of Madden simulation, it is so important to have a good running back, to have a good middle linebacker, like someone who's going to be in the middle of that defense, getting a ton of tackles, forcing turnovers, getting in the backfield. Like, we couldn't have started off any better. Now, we actually are ranked in the top 10 in some of these categories, but where do we stand in the NFL? We're 3-4. Okay, so we're actually already matched our win total from last year with Mac Jones at quarterback, so he will certainly be staying there. And again, like, we have to talk about potentially extending him because, again, like, we're going to head into the same scenario as we did last year where we don't know who our quarterback is going to be. Jacoby Myers, I think I'm going to wait on him for now, just because he is getting up there in age, and I do want to see what his production looks like at the end of the year. Colton Miller, I mean, he gave up the most sacks on our team last year and is commanding about $22 million a year. If he's a superstar, I'd feel more comfortable doing that. But honestly, we might just let him go. And I'm not going to trade him because, like, I do feel like we're in a competitive spot. Like, we're almost 500. So, yeah, and okay. We're not going to extend Mac Jones if that's the type of money that he wants. I'm just going to make that very clear right now. So see how David Bakhtiari wants the 22 mil. He's a superstar. It's like, I don't mind. But because he's up there in age, I'm going to wait because of potential regression that he could be facing as an older player. Okay, yeah. So AJ Cole's going to be the first guy that we sign back here. Excited to stay with the team. Maybe he can make more Pro Bowls and eat more hot dogs on the sideline. Totally his choice. And we're going to wait on Daniel Carlson because he regressed and had a miserable year last season. Now, the more that I'm thinking about it, Jacoby Myers could actually, like, this could be good value. This could be good value if we re-sign him now. But, yeah, I mean, he doesn't even have a touchdown this year. Just barely at 400 yards. Again, a lot of question marks with a lot of these guys, and still just with the overall potential outcome of this team. So I think I'm going to hit the pause button on a lot of these contracts. We look really dumb for not signing Mac Jones to that 3-year contract as we initially he was asking for. But again, like, is he the future of this team? That is still yet to be determined. So we're going to sim all the way to the playoffs. Don't have many responsibilities that we need to take care of in terms of trading or re-signing players like we did last year. So let's move on. And again, like, It's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't want to look too far ahead, but it is coming up soon. Like, where do we stand in the draft? Who's going to be available? Is there going to be quarterbacks that we really like? A lot of questions. And, I think it'll just solve itself. So, advancing to the playoffs here, we actually finished the season 8-9. Just missing out on the playoffs. Who was the last seeded team? There looks like Buffalo, yes, at 10-7. So we're really close. And, I think Mac Jones did a decent job. I mean, he more than doubled the win total here for the team. So I think he played a really good season. Oh my God. Nick Humphrey's already at 89 overall after his first year. Holy crap. Okay, hold on. Let's take a look at this. So, wow. Okay. Oof, that's not good. Darrell Jackson didn't even hit the 500 snaps. Okay, whatever. I don't know. So Nick Humphrey is a superstar X Factor. Wow. I think we made the right call. And again, just me to continue. Oh, yeah. So weird. I mean, he's our 3-down running back. He's not our power back, but he's our 3-down back, and somehow still doesn't get. And anyway, this is why emphasis. Just if you feel like you have a really good player sitting like wherever you're at, just take him, because this is what you could get. And you would take and the Raiders fans know this. Like, they had a ton of picks. I think it was back in 2019. You had Cleveland Farrell, Josh Jacobs, and you had who was the last guy? Jonathan Abram. Like, yes, it's great to have 3 first-round picks, but you have to hit on those picks, and they hit 1 out of the 3. Now, granted, that guy ended up being an X factor in his own regards, but again, in this situation, like, I think we're more than happy to have him on the defensive side of the ball. So, taking a look at our offensive rankings, we rank 16th in points per game, 8th in passing yards per game, which is really great. And then defensively, we were pretty much middle of the road. So, again, we kept our coordinators. We definitely saw some strides in the right direction, kind of justifying my reasoning for keeping them as well. And hopefully we continue that level of production and we keep moving forward. But wow, Mac Jones actually had a pretty solid year. 3,600 yards for 23 touchdowns and 14 picks. And this right here was top 10 in the league. So we really have something to think about here. Rushing wise, Zamir White actually had a pretty solid year now that we brought some more competition in. But I really would have liked to see Darrell Jackson do more. Why he didn't get more downs, I really don't know. But if Zamir White doesn't progress into a star, I might just cut him. Like, it's a better year from last year, but he is not the future of the position. Devontae Adams had a huge season. Jacoby Myers, I don't think did enough, especially with 1 touchdown, to earn another contract, so he will be gone. Let's see. David Bakhtiari, Colton Miller actually had a pretty solid year. So, again, like, that's why we wait on a lot of these guys. Nick Humphrey led the team in tackles. Leading the team in tackles for loss was Christian Wilkins. I mean, look at these numbers. Wow. That is fantastic. And then also Kayvon Thibodeau hitting 11 sacks this season in his first full year with the team. Daniel Carlson had a much better campaign. And then AJ Cole just doing the damn thing. So there's actually a lot of promising pieces on this team. And we really took a huge jump over from 2024 to 2025. So I'm kind of happy with the way that this thing is moving. And we also got extended for another 5 years, ensuring that we will be here with a team until 2030. But again, we are not in the playoffs yet. We are nowhere near where we want to be. As we hit the hour mark here, or near the hour mark here in this rebuild, I'm looking to potentially do a couple more years. I mean, it really just depends on how I feel. I'm going to grab my phone real quick. Where am I at? So, yeah, I mean, I'm recording this. It's 7:33 right now. I have time to do more of this. And, if you guys are sitting down, maybe you're just watching, maybe you're just listening to this on your phone. I don't know. Thank you guys for watching up until this point. This has been a really fun rebuild, and we're kind of walking through this thing together on how this year's Madden is going to look here with the early release here of Madden 25. I am going to take a look at the season recap, because maybe we had a guy win Rookie of the Year. No, we didn't. That's unfortunate. Defensive Rookie of the Year went to Courtney Nixon, and I doubt he had as good of a year as our guy. But hey, it is what it is. We move on, as we are going to upgrade our players here. Heading into, what is this, the 2026 offseason now? 2025 offseason. Honestly, I'm lost. We're just trying to make this team better. doing the damn thing. So this is going to be an important week for us, right? Because we have some names here that we definitely need to start negotiating with. Now, Jacoby Myers, I think, is a good second option, and he is really interested in coming back. Same here with Colton Miller. Oh, man, this Mac Jones situation. I mean, we cannot pay him that much money. Like, I think he did well, but again, like, we still didn't make the playoffs with him. That's a lot of money. 25 mil a year, I absolutely cannot. Wow, Justin Simmons took a huge dip. Okay. We're going to accept the option of Tyree Wilson. He's been a really good run defender for us. Zamir White can walk. So that makes that decision a little bit easier for us. I will bring back Carlson on a 1-year deal. I mean, he only missed 3 kicks, so definitely had a bounce back year. So let's go ahead here and let's see if we can get Jacoby Myers back for 2 more seasons. I would be okay with this. Okay, that's totally fine with me. Here with Colton Miller, I think if we're going to bring him back, I think I want to do it on a pay cut. Or honestly, these 2 years are not bad because even with this move, like we still have $71 million to work with. I'm going to take my chances here. I'm going to go high risk, but I'll still give him the 2 years. We do save a few $1,000,000. So free agency, he thinks will be better in the long run. And honestly, that's totally fine with me because to be quite honest with you guys, I'm not a huge fan of paying offensive linemen in this game. And like you'll see me do it for superstar players like this, but I feel like the margin between our normal development players and our star development players, it's just not much of a difference. So let's see if Bakhtiari will take this deal here. He's relatively interested in coming back. I don't mind giving him the money. Mac Jones, man, this is a lot of money. I think just to secure it, I think we have to give him a 1-year deal. I'm not willing to give him more than that. So if he takes this, I'll be fine with that. There it is. 1-year deal. That's fine. We said last offseason, hey, 1-year deal, prove it to us. He proved it to us. He gets another contract extension, but just not for the long term. And honestly, if we find a franchise quarterback, he's going to get dealt away. So, okay. Taking a look at where we can save some money here. Woo. Devontae Adams making $35 million, but he is still a superstar. And we saw he had 15 touchdowns last year. Like, he is worth all the money, okay? And because there's some of y'all out there who love to pinch pennies, man. You're just like, oh, man, this guy is getting paid too much. You know, you shouldn't pay your players. Like, dudes like that, like Devontae Adams, give them a blank check because that's just how damn good that they are. So, no one on this roster that really has a terrible contract. So, props to the Raiders front office in real life for, you know, staying as organized as they possibly can. Maybe we bring back Colton Miller because he is the best player in free agency. But again, at that number, and it went up to 24 mil. Like, no, I don't think so. Kenny Pickett somehow still a star. Oh my God, Madden 24 simulation god. Desmond Ritter's here. Let's see. Running back, like, again, I think we have our guy. Ooh, Mike Evans would be interesting as a wide receiver 3. Okay, that's something to think about. We will definitely return to that one there. Zach Tom is a star, and look, that's a $6 million difference. So, like, that's where I'm okay with pinching pennies because I don't think that's going to make much of a difference. So, I think this is one where I think I want to do a 1-year deal as well. I don't want to pay a guy long-term that kind of money because, again, I'm gonna emphasize it time and time again. I just don't think it's worth it. Better off looking in the draft at that position there. Let's see. Anything else that I'm really intrigued by? Not really. I mean, honestly, we could bring in Matthew Judon because, like, we're still looking for another outside linebacker. We're kind of lacking in that department. Yeah. See, like a Khalil Mack. Okay, let's look at Khalil Mack right here. So Khalil Mack, we'll try and bring him in on a 1-year deal as well. There's just not a lot of guys that are just like long-term solutions, and it is free agency. Like, if you're trying to build your team off of free agency, you know, it's as much of a toss-up as it is with the draft. But again, you're allocating significantly more money, so it is a lot more of a gamble. So, you know, you really have to make sure you do your due diligence when you're going after these guys. Temporarily, I think we do need a bridge safety here, so we'll go with Kevin Byard, who's still a star, opposed to Justin Simmons, who is now all the way down to a normal. That is a terrible regression for him. And then I think what we'll do is we'll return here to Mike Evans. We'll give Mike Evans a 1-year deal. If he doesn't take it, like I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. But we are number 1 for him. So here is our list of guys that we targeted. We have Zach Tom here at left tackle, Mike Evans, Khalil Mack, and Kevin Byard. Okay. And then Mike Evans didn't end up taking this deal, so maybe we'll try and bump it up to that 2-year deal. I don't mind. Really good receiver. He's already really interested in coming to us. Does he sign with us? Nope. Looks like he's still here. Let's see my signings. So Mike Evans does sign with us. And then we do have someone that didn't sign with us, and it's already left my brain. But it was Kevin Byard. So Kevin Byard left us. So it looks like safety is going to be one of those positions that we have to go out and attack in the draft. Like that was the one guy that I felt like, okay, like yeah, we can go explore there. But yeah, now I'm just not feeling it too much. So let's go ahead again and simulate to the mark where we have to go and take a look at our private workouts, because that ended up being really important for us last year, and I would imagine it would be the same way again this year. So first things first, what we're going to do, we're going to take a look at where exactly we're drafting. We were about 500 last year at 8 and 9, so probably drafting somewhere in the middle of the draft. Let's see. Draft picks here. Okay, so we're number 12. That's actually not bad. I thought we were going to be a little bit lower than that, considering that we almost made the playoffs. So pick 12 is good. Still in range for a quarterback. And again, like the way that Mac Jones played last year, guys, I mean, he was really efficient. Like I wouldn't mind having him as a quarterback again, but in an ideal world, we're obviously going out and getting that franchise quarterback. So let's see where the quarterbacks are. Again, like it's just a really weak class. So I think it's good. And heck, I mean, the top guy is 5'11". Like, that's not good. So, again, like, I think it's great that we brought back Mac Jones. This is another year where the quarterback class is really weak, where we have the top 2 guys are around 2 or 3 talent. So, this is a tough scenario to be in for the Raiders. But let's take a look at, probably around here. Let's see. This is kind of where we can start to take a look. I think what I will do is will still no, I can't draft a quarterback that's 5'11". No, I can't do it. Okay, who do I really like here? I think that Casey Farrell looks like a pretty solid player at outside linebacker, and again, like we have Khalil Mack there, but he's more of like a temporary bridge player. Zaire Bradley looks pretty solid too, but F zone coverage, like when you're playing a 3-4 defense, it does matter if those guys can drop back into coverage or not. Let's see. Again, I don't mind looking down the board here. Earl Dunn, oh wow, he looks really good actually. I would have to consider it. Connor Crawford, ooh, oh my goodness, he actually looks pretty solid. Yeah, he looks all right. So good attributes, but like the physicals are like not necessarily there. Thank God that the thing didn't reset all the way to the bottom again. That was just so annoying when you would have to go through that. In previous Maddens. Okay. So, I'm not super intrigued by a lot of these guys here, honestly. I will take a look at Connor Crawford because like he did catch my eye, and then I'll take a look at Earl Dunn as well. Again, unfortunately, like a lot of these guys are not necessarily like needs, but like I mean, those are like the best players in my eyes that are on the board. Maybe we'll just take a look at someone down here. If no one catches my eye down here, I'm going to just go ahead and take a look at one of the quarterbacks. Maybe we can find out a little bit more about them, and, we can be like, hey, like maybe we do feel okay drafting one of these guys, but yeah, I mean, I'm not really seeing it. So I think I'll do DeAndre Page here from NC State. We will do that as our 3 players that we want to bring in for private workouts, find out a little bit more about, but let's go ahead and enter this draft. Again, I'm grateful for Mac Jones right now because we kind of brought him in and we were kind of like, hey, can he be that guy? And he low-key was. I mean, I don't think we need to like kind of convince ourselves in our mind that, he was that player. Like, yeah, he was actually really good last season. Played like a top 10 quarterback statistically, so can't complain. Okay. Pick number 12 here. Selecting right after the Minnesota Vikings. Okay, so I will take a look at these quarterbacks anyway. I think it would be irresponsible to not do that. So here's Titus Douglas, the 5'11 quarterback. Yeah, I mean, arm strength in terms of the bench press is not really blowing me away and doesn't really have the speed as well. So this is a guy that, you know, hey, if he pans out, you know, another team will have to take that gamble on him. Ah, this is an interesting player. Larry Henderson. Oh, man. And he's regarded as a round 2 or 3 guy. But again, like, I felt that way about Bo Nix, you know, and who knows how Bo Nix is going to turn out. But if you think you have your guy, you know, don't even bother messing around with it. Like, just take him. Ooh, okay. So, I mean, we definitely still need a safety, right? Like, that's big time position of need. Let's see. Attribute wise, no one really looks spectacular. I am looking at these two guys, though. I mean, they don't look terrible. 2 hybrid players. Elijah Higgins here, who we can probably get later in the draft because of where they're ranked. So, oof, man. Maybe we could take a look at the guards. No, this is not the guy that we were looking at. This is the guy that we're looking at right here. DeAndre Page. This is the guy that we brought in, and he looks pretty good, honestly. He looks pretty good. Round 1 to 2 talent. So we know that we'd have a stud there. Sorry, getting a little bit of text messages. I know that you guys can hear the dinging in the background. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Like, Larry Henderson, although the talent doesn't necessarily reflect it, and he's 23 years old, so he would be starting immediately for us. There's no him sitting, but he has great throw power, elite acceleration, elite change of direction, great speed. Like, this is a real dual threat quarterback, and in today's NFL, you do need a dual threat quarterback. So, man, this is a big decision here because, I mean, Mac Jones is playing all right, but we want to be great. You know, we want to be great. So, I think this is our franchise quarterback, guys. Larry Henderson out of Texas Tech. Whew. All right, deep breath, guys. We're going to select Larry Henderson, a guy who has around 2 to 3 talent, but is projected in the first round nonetheless. And I can understand why. Like, this guy has tremendous attributes. Okay, there he is. Got the do-rag on. I like the swag. He already got the Raiders do-rag on. Instead of giving him a cap like they usually do, I guess they're giving out do-rags this year. Oh my goodness, I am so nervous right here. Number 72 in true value. Maintains mechanics and accuracy when under pressure. That's actually a really good sign. Dynamic playmaker outside of the pocket and makes easy throws look automatic. The moment of truth. And he is a normal. All right, so we took a gamble. At the moment, it doesn't look like it paid off. But again, I'm going to stand by my pick. That's going to be one of those where I'm just like, hey, we are banking on the upside of this guy. We are banking on the physical traits and his upside to go ahead and be the quarterback that we envision him being. So, ooh, okay, that one hits a little hard, honestly. Not really liking this position either. Okay, so we do need some offensive linemen. That's first things first. We do need to build up in the trenches. We're going to take a look at their, what was it, the combine? Yeah, combine. And then we'll take a look at who had the highest bench presses. So here's a guy right here in Starks, Connor Starks here, projected round 2 to 3 talent. And ooh, actually has really good strength. So not super good as a power blocker, but more of an agile type of guy. That is definitely someone that I could see myself bringing into the organization. Taking a look here. Who rules the bench here? It's going to be this guy, Wayne Gentry. He actually looks a lot better, but his injury is really bad. Oh, man. And see, that's the thing, too. I really value availability. And if this is a guy who's going to consistently get hurt, like, that's not someone you really want to be bringing in because you want your guys at the end of the day to be playing ball. So, okay. And then, I mean, of course, it's been made obvious that we really need a safety. This guy definitely has the range. I mean, look at those attributes, right? First in a lot of categories, honestly. And it's really the important ones as well. Great man coverage, great awareness, play recognition. This might be our pick here, honestly. I think we can get another good offensive lineman later in the draft. So let's go ahead here with our second round pick. Take Russ Allen here, who is number 33 in true value. We got him at 44, and he is hidden. So we did a great job there. Again, like, I know some of you guys might be discouraged by the fact that we drafted a normal development quarterback, but honestly, I wouldn't have drafted that guy if I don't think that the sky is literally the limit for him. Like, he has all the attributes necessary to be a fantastic quarterback. So I'm not even worried about it, to be quite honest with you guys. Let's see. So we do still want to fill in that hole of the offensive line. We are, again, going to take a look at who are the strongest guys here. Okay, so these guys are listed as potential UDFAs. So, hey, strength is one thing, but, like, okay. So let's take a look. This guy is projected around 3 to 4. Caleb Evans honestly looks solid. Again, I mean, you get what you get, I guess, at this point in the draft, right? Let's see, Thomas Hightower. Okay, so I do like that other guy a little bit better. Maybe we can draft a center and move him over. But again, if we're going to take one of these guys, like, okay, they have to be up here in weight as well. So let's see. Maybe Tyrell Pleasant. No, can't be rocking with the poor strength. And then Chris Parrish here. And now for some of you guys who are wondering, like, hey, why are we spending so much time on, you know, a pick like this? But honestly, this is where you win Super Bowls here. The teams that hit in the mid rounds of the draft picks, like, these are the teams that end up having a real good chance of, you know, making it the whole way. So I think this is the last guy I'll take a look at because he's got a respectable amount of reps as well. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do here, and I mean, we really do need some guard help. I am going to take Caleb Evans here with our third round pick. He is definitely going to be a starter. Number 34 in true value and number 76 is where we drafted him, and he also is hidden. So again, to be honest, guys, I know that the hidden dev trait doesn't really reflect all of it because he doesn't have it, but I think that Henderson is going to be a dog, and I do think we had another good draft. Like, we got so much more quality players and all at positions that are really going to just change the trajectory of this franchise for better or worse, but I am willing to live and die with these decisions. So he is 4 overalls less than Mac Jones. Now we have to think, you know, do we let Mac Jones play? Because obviously, you know, you're not really going to be stunning his development a whole lot by not playing him. Whew. Okay. We have some interesting decisions to make. Here is Allen right there at free safety, and then we have Evans here at right guard. Again, 2 guys who are immediately going to play. You know, honestly, I think if you're going to invest a high pick like that, I think you have to go ahead and play him immediately, especially in this game. Like, in real life, you can let him wait and let him develop, but the game here doesn't work like that. Okay, I wouldn't mind bringing in Alex Douglas. Like, this guy is already a better dev trait than the guy that we drafted in the 3rd round last year. JSN, oh, that's actually a significantly better player. Oh, yeah, I don't even have to think about this. Let's bring in JSN. So, our rookie quarterback has a ton of weapons, right? We have a young rookie running back. We have 2 very high-quality tight ends. And then now you bring in Jackson Smith and Jigba to be the second player on this team. And look, I mean, we still even have Mike Evans on this roster. Like, we're low-key stacked. So, okay, wow. I'm pretty happy about this. I mean, we have Khalil Mack here as well. And again, like, we could replace Morrison, but this is another one of those guys where, like, he has range. He has a ton of speed. And I still want to wait and see, you know, how well he can play down the stretch, because I do think that he is worthy of getting a dev trait as well. So let's go ahead here and simulate into the regular season. Now, this is a year, right? And because, and I talked about this, how I do believe that our quarterback Henderson does have an opportunity to develop as he gets more snaps. So I think what I'm going to do here is go week by week. And, you know, if there is that chance that he does get a dev trait, we want to make sure that we're there to, for one, open it and then see if he gets it the following week. So let's go ahead here, get another auto-generated draft class. Not a single quarterback in the top 10 again. So again, maybe it was an even better idea that we took the quarterback because it just doesn't seem like it's going to be getting any better. I'm going to be moderate again because new quarterback, right? Like the expectations are obviously high because he's a 1st round pick, but let's not overwhelm the guy. Like, we understand that we have to be reasonable as well. So we have all the weapons around him. You know, he does have every opportunity to succeed. We are now an 85 overall team, highlighted by our defense. But let's take a look at this roster, right? I mean, there is not a ton of holes left in this roster, if any at all. I mean, I feel like all of these guys are very high quality starters, and they did end up cutting Jacoby Myers, but that's totally okay because we have Mike Evans. Like, one of those guys had to go, and it really didn't matter who to me. But again, like, the one real weakness, second middle linebacker, maybe slot corner, but I mean, DeCamerion Richardson played pretty well, and then Tyree Wilson, not regarded as a star, but the way that he defends the run definitely is one. Also, Christian Wilkins is a superstar. So, yeah, let's go ahead. Ooh, we do have trade offers for Michael Mayer. That is interesting. I will be willing to listen to these. Yeah, but I mean, that's not even worth it, man. I mean, this is a former second-round pick, and the only reason why he's second on the depth chart is because we have a generational tight end ahead of him. So, let's take a look here at how we play. We beat the 49ers 20-3 here in year 3, and we begin with Max Crosby getting 3 sacks on opening week to begin the season. That is a great way to start with our new rookie quarterback. I'm going to take a look at the offers one more time. If there isn't anything that really intrigues me, we're probably just not going to look at these for the rest of the year. That's exactly how it's going to play out. So it is what it is. I mean, it's good to have Mayer on the team anyway. I still like him. I think he's a really good tight end. Okay, so there's a loss here. And again, what I'm looking out for is, in those lists of responsibilities, is looking for that potential dev trait that we could be getting from our quarterback if he starts to string together some really solid performances. Good win there against Cincinnati. If we would make the playoffs this year in year 1, I mean, that definitely changes the outlook of things. But we're having a pretty average year right now. Almost at that midseason mark where we're going to have to take a look at contracts and such. We are at the bottom of the AFC West right now, but still no dev trait, which is what we're looking out for. We want to make sure that, you know, we can really hit those development benchmarks if they present themselves. Okay, Max Crosby. Yeah, I mean, he wants a 2-year deal right now. That is totally fine. Welcome back to the team. We'll give you whatever you want. Kayvon Thibodeau went up to a superstar as well. I didn't even realize that. Like, we looked at the roster multiple times. I didn't even notice that. Let's give him a 5-year deal. I want to make sure he's here as a younger player. JSN is someone that we just traded for. I'll give him a 7-year deal. Just a young wide receiver that we want to make sure we secure. Michael Mayer, I think I'm going to just let walk. I think really highly of him. But we have Brock Bowers. Andre James, solid center. Bring him back for a 2-year deal. Davante Adams, we're going to wait. Like, I know I talked about how much I love Davante Adams and how much he means to this team, but he is 33 years old, and we have to be wary of stuff like that. Same goes for Bakhtiari. Like, we're going to just take it year to year with these guys who are definitely getting up there in age. That applies to Mr. Mack as well. So, I like what we did there. Definitely got a lot of our key players back. Let's go ahead and upgrade players. Let's see where our quarterback is, right? He's in normal development. He is not going to be getting XP at rates like everyone else. And Larry Henderson does only have 1 upgrade point. So that is okay. Like, we expect it to be a little bit bumpy to begin things. Brock Bowers gets another ability unlocked here. We just can't have too dreadful of a season. And it's really turning out that way. And that's so unfortunate, honestly. This is not good. So I think what we're going to have to do here, and like, now that we have a team in place that, you know, we feel pretty confident about, it might be time to consider moving on from our coordinators, because there's really no excuse this year for us to be like mediocre and stuff. Like, this team should be winning, and this is a promising start. There's Larry Henderson, 22 for 30, 254 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 8 carries, 32 rush yards, and then a rushing touchdown as well. So there's that dual threat ability on full display. You'll love to see it, and you'll love to see him getting a conference award too. Like, that's fantastic. But we do need to start winning some games. Like, that is more important than anything else at this stage, and it's just not happening. So, okay. Got to win there. I mean, I don't think we're making the playoffs at this point. Still no dev trait. I'm really scared to see what the stats look like this year. Another bad season. Let's see, where do we 45-10 against the Chiefs? Like, yeah, it's gonna be hard to keep up with Mahomes. Okay. So we don't end up getting that depth chart that we were looking for, but we still got through the season relatively quickly. We finished the year 6-11, and now here's the most important thing. We have to take a look at the stats. Oh boy, Larry Henderson is not good. He is not good. Let's take a look at how Mr. Mac Jones did. Yeah, he did good. So maybe we should have kept him. Again, a really risky decision, but I felt strongly about drafting Mr. Henderson here. So, hey, we're going to just have to live with that decision. Almost 1,000 yards here for Darrell Jackson. But, oh, yeah, I see. Like, I think Devontae Adams is gone now. Brock Bowers is a huge part of the offense. Oh, man. Again, like, I mean, we'll take a look at all these stats. I mean, really good numbers again. But, okay. A lot to think about. As we're reaching here the final year of what I wanted to be of this rebuild. So again, we can split this up into parts. Like, the Raiders felt strongly enough to give us a contract extension after our second year, all the way up until 2030. So we're technically still under contract with this team for a good handful of years. But man, what do we do here? So we're going to go to the off season and we're going to head over to staff week. And the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of at least my offensive coordinator. I think defensively, we still put up some pretty good numbers. I just need to see where we ranked amongst all the other teams. That's really going to determine what we end up doing at that spot. So let's take a look here. I'm going to try to find the stats again. And then see where we rank defensively as a team. So offensively, we were 31st. So yeah, I mean, our offensive coordinator is out of here. And defensively, we were 19th. So again, like, we have our playmakers still making a ton of plays. I think I'm okay keeping the defense, to be honest, because we've seen a lot of guys like dev up and stuff like this. Yeah, Rod Starling, you're gone, dog. You're gone. And Roy Walker, he doesn't have a ton of attributes, so maybe something to think about. Now, what do we want to do here? Who do we like? This, like, Nick Sirianni's offense would be interesting because we do have a quarterback who does run the ball a lot, right? So that could be something interesting that we could explore. Shane Steichen's offense would also be super interesting. Brian Callahan already got fired from Tennessee. Unbelievable. I'm just trying to see, like, which one of these playbooks would really help out and utilize our quarterback. I mean, I do like Dallas's playbook. Oh, honestly, KC playbook. I mean, this guy here, Ramiro Gallo, is out here. And the reason why that I'm considering this, right? I think I'm considering this, Atlanta's playbook, because Atlanta does use, like, what they did with Mariota and Ritter. But actually, now that I think about it, Raheem Morris, no, that would be a lot different now. So I think I am going to bank on this because we're not going to have Devontae Adams next season. And we really need to get our playmakers the ball. Andy Reid's offense is going to definitely utilize that tight end spot and make the most out of Brock Bowers. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's do this. Let's just get that X Factor 1. That's the one that really matters. Okay, and then let's fire our defensive coordinator as well. I mean, 19th. I'm just kind of trying to think about it in my head. I'm just like, like, that's not even a top half of the league worthy unit. So, and we definitely have the talent for it. Like, I just feel like we're really not living up to our potential here. I really like Mike Macdonald. Like, Mike Macdonald is a fantastic defensive coordinator, and looks like he already got fired from his did he get fired? Wait, where am I seeing that? Did he get fired already? Yeah, he did. Okay. Mike Macdonald's going to be my defensive coordinator, and he runs a 3-4 scheme just like we do, so he definitely is a scheme fit. But, I mean, we saw what he did as a defensive coordinator in Baltimore. Why Seattle gave up on him so quickly, I'm not totally sure. So, okay, first things first, and before we forget that, let's go into the lineup, and let's go ahead and adjust those playbooks. to make sure that we don't lose our hirings and forget what we did. So Kansas City here to utilize the skill set of Brock Bowers, and then we have to go here and get Mike McDonald's defense from Seattle. I mean, I'm pretty happy with those two hirings. But again, it's all about Henderson, Larry Henderson, and his development. And, you know, we want him to become a passer. And, oh, my God, Kayvon Thibodeau's an X factor now. Holy shit. Now, we did lose Christian Wilkins' superstar ability, but it is what it is. I mean, it happens. Okay. So we are going to upgrade our players. Another huge offseason coming up. I do actually want to see, because I'm still very interested in this whole thing with Mac Jones, because Mac Jones is actually having like a pretty good recovery from like where he was once at. I do want to take a look at the league standings. Like, where did Seattle finish? Did the Seahawks actually do decent? I'm assuming not, because Mike McDonald's not there anymore. NFC West. So they went 8-9. So they made the playoffs, but in one of like the worst divisions in NFL history. So, I mean, hey, good for Mac Jones and stuff, but I mean, they ended up in the same spot that we did last year. So it is what it is. Okay. So let's move on here to the next week. I don't see us taking another quarterback. Like, we invested such a high pick into Larry Anderson that it just wouldn't make sense. Like, we're not going to pull a Cardinals here. Oh man, do we? I don't know. Devontae just had such a bad year last year. We'll think about it. I don't know. I think we could definitely get a better wide receiver in free agency or the draft. So let's move on here. That's a tough one to let go of, but I mean, he hit regression hard. So let's take a look at the free agents here, and we have a ton of cap space. So, whew. Oh my Lord. Okay. I think you guys know what's going through my mind. We could have Nick Henderson and Fred Warner. We could have the best linebacking group in the NFL, and our defense would be absolutely scary. I mean, we have the money. I don't see why not. Okay, honestly, oh wow. Okay, this is huge. Devontae has 76 speed. I cannot bring him back. Yeah, I mean, he's not going to get away from anyone. So yeah, that's that. That is that experiment. Let's go Ronnie Stanley here. Again, I don't mind paying these tackles that are superstars, and he's still a really high overall. So let's bring him in. The rest of our offensive line, though, I think should be solid. Maybe another tackle, right? Ramczyk, Bakhtiari. Like, Bakhtiari's been pretty solid for our team. So I don't mind bringing him back, honestly. Play right tackle for us again. See our edge rushers. Lucas Van Ness. Daron Payne's out here in free agency. That's an interesting one. Okay, I think we're solid there. Ooh, Tuli Pelotu. Okay. So I'm just trying to get a general idea of what I want to do here. I still do have 3 evaluations, and we have $59 million here in cap space. Let's go ahead here. Okay, I think I know what I want to do. So let's try and bring in Tuli Pelotu. I don't mind a 4-year deal here, honestly. That's good there. Chargers are trying to bring him back because they failed to re-sign him. We got to do it. Let's try and bring in Fred Warner here. Let's just build up that defense, and we're going to continue to do so. Let's try and bring in a cornerback here. Who am I feeling here? I think I'll go Travarius Ward. We already have a little bit of interest from him as well, so let's offer him one. Okay, and we're leading for him. So 5 targets here. I think we still need to get a kicker. I didn't bring back Daniel Carlson because he missed 6 kicks this year. So we only got the 2 tackles. That is really unfortunate. But, I mean, that's what happens when you're a bad team. Like, people don't want to sign with you. And same goes for Travarius Ward. So we're going to go 0 for 3 there on those defensive signings. That's totally fine. I'm not interested in bringing in any of these other guys, really. Let's make sure that we get a kicker. But, hey, we did bring in Ronnie Stanley. That is still a huge addition, whether you guys feel that way or not. I mean, superstar tackle, right? So let's bring in Brandon Aubrey here as our kicker. Again, like, we didn't really, like, need those guys. It would have been nice, Yes, definitely for sure. But again, that's just the reality of it. When you don't play well, players don't want to come to you, and it's unfortunate because we had a lot of money to spend. But hey, it'll roll over to next year, which we will still be here because of our contract extension. So, all right, let's move on. Let's move on. Definitely not in a good place. We are heading into our 4th year um, as the head coach of this team, and we are yet to have a winning record. And a lot of it has to do in the fact that, we just haven't been able to get a quality quarterback, and that is now partially on my shoulders as well because of the quarterback that we drafted. Have I given up on him? Absolutely not. But again, like, it was not a very encouraging first year. So let's take a look here. I mean, we're probably going to be drafting around the same range, maybe a little bit higher. Again, not interested in drafting any of these tackles early on. So let's take a look here. George Ash, I think that's going to be an interesting one. D tackle, not really a need, to be quite honest. Where are we looking here? Deontay Hanna. I mean, dude, 6'6", 337 is an absolute menace. Holy crap. Wow. I mean, I'm looking through this and like I'm not super impressed by a lot of these guys, to be quite honest. I mean, we're in round 2 already. All right. I mean, let's just take a look at the quarterback position anyway. And look at that. I mean, that's insane. I mean, look, criticize me all you want, but we've gone through 3 drafts already. We haven't even had a guy who was like round 1 or 2 talent. Like, wow, that is insane. Let's see. I mean, we'll just take a look at this quarterback anyway. I mean, he looks pretty solid, and there's no one else that I really like. So, hey, I mean, if this guy blows me out of the water too, maybe we'll think about it. But I mean, like, this has got to be like a guy who I'm like, oh yeah, like, I don't know how this guy's all the way down here. Like, he should be a top 5 talent. Okay, a lot of question marks with this team. Now let's take a look at the roster before we do head in to this draft here. So our offensive line, still probably one of the stronger parts of our team. We definitely need to go out and get a wide receiver because even Mike Evans just, oh, that's not good. And honestly, depending on his speed, I might get rid of him. Okay, 88 speed. You know what? No, you're gone, dog. You're gone. Mike Evans is gone. Good player for 1 year. Signed him for 2 just to make sure that he stayed with us. Okay, where are we looking at? So, again, outside linebacker. I'd say outside linebacker, cornerback, and wide receiver. But wide receiver being the first priority over anything else is definitely a position that we need to focus on here in this year's draft. Okay, so we have the 5th overall pick. Let's simulate to our pick. Oh my goodness, and the wide receiver didn't get taken. So, again, we could look to trade back here, right, because of the whole quarterback situation. And oh my goodness, Pounds. I mean, he went down. He's around 3-4 guy now. So, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, let's take a look at these wide receivers. Oh my goodness, George Ash is a top 5 wide receiver in this year's class. Let's see, Dobbins was the other guy that we took a look at. He's a round 1 guy. So, I think we know our pick here. Again, if you have elite players, you're going to go ahead and take them. He does have F injury, though. But this is a damn good player. I mean, it's a damn good player. You saw his elite traits. So, let's take a look. I mean, that injury thing is concerning to me. I won't lie. But we're not getting nearly as good of offers as we were a couple seasons ago when, I mean, we were even lower than this. Or, no, sorry, we weren't. So, that makes sense, I guess. So I'm going to go ahead and make my selection here. No, nothing there that presented itself that I felt really strongly about. But we're going to get another top 5 player here in George Ash, the number 1 player in the draft again. That is the second time that we drafted the number 1 player in the draft. He also, oh my God, he's hidden. Holy crap. Okay, so that is the second time that we've drafted the number 1 player, not at the number 1 pick. I am absolutely ecstatic about that. Oh, I can't wait to see what his overall is. Because, I mean, shit, Nick Henderson was a freaking, what was he, a 70? No, he's an 83. Like, that's, well, we'll see. Okay. I'm getting super excited about this. If the other wide receiver is here, I think I want to take him. I don't know if he will be here. No, it doesn't look like it. Um, but we really could use a third wide receiver. Now, we still do need to address that cornerback position. So I think I do want to take a look at speed here. This is another one where like speed matters to me, honestly. 4.35. Here's this guy ran a 4.4. So we have these two guys projected round 2 that ran some pretty good 40s. Sidney Beal. Oh, yeah, that looks good. I mean, solid. Great man-to-man corner. Let's see. You're going to sort it out by the 40 time again. So we took a look at Beal here, and then we're going to take a look here at Corey Talbot. Doesn't look as good. Okay, so I think I know who I'd take there. And then the other position I went to look at was the outside linebacker spot. I think this one's going to be more of like an attributes one that I'm going to be taking a look at. But these are all day 3 guys, so I'm not really interested in that. Here we have a couple of day 2 guys here. So these top 3 guys, I think, is who I'm going to take a look at here. We have Nick White here. He actually looks pretty solid. Don't like to see that F catching, though. I mean, if an interception's heading your way, buddy, you got to catch that thing. Change of direction's not good with this guy. Like, I'm not overly excited about what this group of guys looks like. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Oh, wow. Okay. So Jason Clay, I think, is going to be our pick here. I mean, where does he fall in the draft? Jason Clay is not predicted to go till around 3 or 4, as opposed to the guy that we were looking at earlier. Where is he? Right here. Talbot, I believe, was the guy. Was it Talbot? I think it was the other cornerback, actually, who was projected to go somewhere here in this round. I think it was Beal. Yeah. So, wow. Okay. So I think what we're going to do here, and I'm going to just take a look at this like other cornerback before we move on. I think that's my guy here. So what we're going to do is we're going to address the cornerback position here by taking Sidney Beal here out of Alabama. Hopefully he's hidden. I mean, he has the speed to pretty much keep up with anyone. Let's see. Okay, so he's normal. He's going to be our slot corner anyway. So it is what it is. That's unfortunate. And then hopefully that outside linebacker is still here. Otherwise, that's going to really look bad. That's just going to be a double whammy pretty much. And nope, he's still here. Jason Clay is still here. So we're going to turn in that card instantly because, I mean, we feel like he's a pretty good player that slipped down the board. Got good value in him, about 14 picks before, and he was hidden. So maybe that should have been the pick there in the second round. But hey, nonetheless, I think we got 2 guys that we can definitely work with. And again, as long as these guys have the physical traits to put together a good career, I think that you always have something to work with there. So let's see. What? Oh my goodness. I'm just excited to see what Ash turns out to be in terms of overall for the receiver position. Here we go. Oh my goodness. George Ash is an 81 overall rookie. That is fantastic. Now our third wide receiver is, a lot to be desired. Also Stetson Bennett, Mr. 4 interceptions in the preseason, sitting there. Okay, and Clay's not even starting, so I think what I have to do is I think I just got to get rid of Tommy Eichenberg. I mean, he's been here for too long. He's done a whole lot of nothing. So Tommy, adios, amigo. You are gone because Mr. Jason Clay has entered the building, and he is going to be our starting outside linebacker. So, again, another year where I feel strongly about the group, but it's really all up to Larry Henderson and how he plays. And again, has a plethora of weapons surrounding him. And so, we have a new playbook as well. We have a new offensive coordinator. Hopefully this works out. Yeah, I mean, oh boy. Let's just see how this goes. This is the final season here of this rebuild. And honestly, I'm having a lot of fun doing this. And so I think what I'm going to do here is I actually am going to kind of turn this into a series. And, down the road when we get a team that starts winning, we'll start hopping into those games and stuff. But yeah, I mean, we really need to turn this ship around. Let's go for 7 wins again. I mean, we didn't even hit that mark last year. Just so unfortunate. And how about we generate a draft class with good quarterbacks in it? There it is. The number 1 overall player is projected to be a quarterback. The number 7 overall player is projected to be a quarterback. Finally, I mean, we have a glimpse of hope for the quarterback position in the future of this league. Okay, let's upgrade players here. I mean, this is a big year for Larry Henderson, who is now a 76 overall. But I mean, damn. I mean, we really need him to show up and prove to everyone why we believed in him as the number 12 overall pick. So, again, before we hop into this, let's take a look at our roster one more time. And I'm going to go week by week because I do feel like that dev trait for Larry Henderson can pop up at any given moment. And we have to be there to make sure that, you know, we click on that and give him the opportunity to get that dev trait. So here we go. New offensive and defensive playbook. It's been a rough 3-year start here for Antonio Pierce and the Las Vegas Raiders, but we're looking to turn things around here. Week 1 against Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears results in a loss. And like how we're not on the hot seat or how we haven't already been fired is interesting. And Darrell Jackson is out for 35 weeks. So he's done. We're putting him on IR. That is so unfortunate. I mean, okay. You know, it is what it is. I mean, what are you going to do about it? That's actually depressing. That is actually depressing. Okay, first and foremost, let's look for a running back here. We have Ray Davis here. Chuba Hubbard, maybe. Kendry Miller. Okay, so maybe we can trade for a guy. Holy crap, that is not how we needed to start a season like this. A season where we urgently need some wins. Let's take a look here at the running back spot. Jalen Wright is here. Blake Corum, Bucky Irving. I mean, these are all pretty respectable names, honestly. Who do I like here? I think probably I'd go with Jalen Wright. I mean, this is a guy from Cardinals franchise, which we stopped, unfortunately, because Madden came out and I was just slacking. So let's take a look here. Oh, this would have been bad. I'm recording and my Mac is almost dead. So we would have just lost everything that we did here because I haven't been charging it the entire time. Let's see. What do they need here? So outside linebacker, I mean, we just don't have a ton of depth at a lot of these positions. We don't have any depth, as a matter of fact. Let's see. Maybe, no, they're not going to want him. Okay. So I just don't, yeah, I mean, we're not going to trade for a running back. I think we're going to just pick up one of those guys in free agency, and I think I'm going to pick up Chuba Hubbard just because he has that experience as a starting running back, even if it was very temporarily. We need some of that experience there in the backfield. Joe Mixon is also here, so do I pick him up? I mean, Jerome Ford. I kind of like Jerome Ford a little bit better here. I think just because he has like 3 more speed, and again, we talked about how that matters. So we'll have a little bit of running back by committee there in the backfield as opposed to just having one pure back in the backfield. So, all right, yeah, Reggie, you're 58 overall, dog. UFL is calling your name. Okay. Let's keep going here. Moving on here to week 2. We get a win here against the Cleveland Browns. And look, I mean, we're an 85 overall squad with an 87 overall defense. Like, again, I think it just comes down to that quarterback spot. Like, it makes a huge difference, honestly. There's a lot of pressure on Larry Allen to step up and perform this season. So 1-1. I'm not going to get too excited until we start like stacking up like a serious amount of wins. There's Nick Humphrey. I mean, absolute dog, staple, who's going to be a staple of this franchise for a very, very long time. The Raiders are 2-1 now. Broncos are 0-3. We should win this game, and we do. We are now 3-1 going up against the Vikings. We are 87s across the board. I mean, we're better than this team in pretty much every facet of the game. Let's see if that results in a win. It does. Okay, that is great. So we have to just keep winning these games. We have another injury. Holy crap. This time it's Dylan Laube, who has a partial ACL tear. So, good thing for us, we signed 2 running backs. I mean, that running back room is just, not looking too good right now. So here we go. The Chiefs having a little bit of an underwhelming start. We do lose that one, and I mean, it's the Chiefs, right? Like, if we see them in the playoffs, That's one that we got to win. And there's Nick Humphrey, who goes down with an injury and is out for 6 weeks. Like, this team just cannot catch a break. I mean, the one year where we're finally starting to catch a little bit of momentum, and this is what starts to happen. I don't even know what to say anymore. Week 7 here against the Chargers, we get the win, and we also get another weekly award. This one goes to Larry Henderson, who has a phenomenal performance, nearly 350 yards and 3 passing touchdowns without turning over the football. That is a huge performance. That is probably the best performance of Larry Henderson's career. Now, this is huge right here. I mean, we need to win this game, right? I mean, it's a divisional game. You guys understand how this goes. This does a lot for us down the road in terms of seeding and stuff like that. So, okay, let's negotiate these contracts as we are nearing the mid-season point. Jackson Powers Johnson, this is a really quality guard, so I don't mind bringing him back. We'll bring him on a 7-year deal. He said he can't fully commit to that. I mean, you're getting long-term security for your family, man. Financial security, man. It's important. I don't know what to tell you, man. Okay, so AJ Cole will come back. I mean, best punter in the league, man. Best punter in the league. He hasn't even re-signed either. I mean, god damn it, dude. Okay, we have another week next week. But first things first, we need to win this game here against Kansas City. And this would be huge. Like, this would give us a 2-game lead. Right now we have a half-game lead, but we do have a loss against them. So this would at least even up the series for this year. This would be huge if we can go into Arrowhead and get that win. We lose again. So that is unfortunate. It is okay, though, because, I mean, again, it's Mahomes and the Chiefs. Like, if you're going to drop 2 games to one team, let it be that team, because we understand how good they are as a team. So let's try and bring back JPJ. So, yeah, maybe we'll give him a 6-year deal. We'll bump it up by like 1. Now we'll give him the 7. Bump it up a little bit. Yeah. So you give him $100K in each department, and, that was good enough for him. Let's see. A lot of these other guys, like they're not even interested. Ronnie Stanley, we're gonna have to wait because of age. AJ Cole, come on, man. I mean, we love you, dude. Okay, another guy who just wanted $200K more, and that was good enough for them. So, all right, let's upgrade players again. This is a huge game. 6-2 here against the Green Bay Packers. Whew. Okay, this is gonna be a huge game. Like, we need to, stay above 500. Like, we can't just be treading water, as we do get that win over a good Green Bay Packers team who is 6-2. Fantastic. Okay, Baltimore Ravens. We are leading this division now. We were the number 2 team in the AFC as well. So another huge win here for the Las Vegas Raiders as we head into the bye week at, what is that, 7-3? Okay. So let's go ahead here, upgrade players. Coming off the bye week, we got some time to rest and, build up our stamina again, get back to 100%. Okay, here we go. 7-3 Steelers, a huge game. I mean, look, we already talked about this. We're the number 2 team in the AFC. Like, this determines a lot in terms of seeding down the road. And we lose the game. That is a tough one to drop. That's okay, though, right? I mean, we're still having a really good season, but we have to keep it up. Look, we can't be dropping games like this late in the season. And, like, this team here, too, like the Giants, if we lose to this team, I don't even know what to say. They're 2-10. Max Crosby played his heart out, and we still couldn't win that football game. Please tell me we win this game. Like, no crap has to happen here. Okay, good. We win that game. This is another game that we should win. Also, we got another weekly award here. It's Max Crosby again, man. I mean, he is a goddamn Las Vegas Raider for life, man. We're going to continue to bring him back time and again. Here we go, playing the Bengals here, who are 5-8. We do drop that game. That is a game you absolutely need to win. I mean, you need to beat these opponents that are struggling throughout the year. Here's another one, and we lose to them as well. Like, what are we doing? Are we trying to choke the season away? You can't lose to teams like that and expect to be, feared amongst your foes in the NFL. We have another injury, man. I mean, come on. They are giving us every opportunity to make the playoffs this year. What are we doing, man? What are we doing? We are the 7th seed right now. We are hanging on by a thread. And that is why these games were so important. Here against the Chargers, we get the win. And this is a 3-13 squad here. So Jacksonville is still fighting for a spot here. The Jets are still fighting for a spot. This is a must-win game. And I mean, what better game to have it against than the Titans? I mean, this is pretty much giving us a free entry into the playoffs. If we just play like the team that we've been for a majority of the season. Here we go. And we did it. Oh my goodness. We won the game and we secured our first playoff berth here with Antonio Pierce and the Las Vegas Raiders. We are in the damn thing and we open it up against Kansas City in Arrowhead. Oh boy. There it is, guys. Okay. So, let's go ahead here and upgrade the players. We are in the playoffs, guys. I'm so happy. Can you not tell by the smile on my face? I'm so happy. We're here, man. We're here. Okay. Let's take a look here. I mean, we just upgraded our players. Let's take a look at the stats. That's going to be really important. But again, this is the best. Oh my God. Larry Henderson, ladies and gentlemen, threw for the second most passing yards in the entire league, threw 33 touchdowns and 14 interceptions with nearly a 70% completion percentage. The jump from year 1 to year 2 is like, wow. I cannot believe it. Okay. Let's go to rushing wise. Chuba Hubbard was our temporary guy, but Larry Henderson actually was second on the team in rushing yards, which is pretty amazing, honestly. Receiving wise, there it is. And this is exactly why I wanted to run this offense. Brock Bowers over 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. And not only that, Jackson Smith and Jigbo went absolutely off with 1,100 yards. Actually, just one more yard than Brock Bowers. And then 15 touchdowns as well. Now, Ash had a pretty underwhelming season, I'm not going to lie. But that's okay. I mean, he is our number 2 option at the end of the day. And that's a damn good number 2 option to have. Okay. Blocking wise, let's see how these guys did. Ronnie Stanley didn't have that great of a season, so not good for his potential contract talks. Now, our numbers definitely went down here. Max Crosby, though, had a monstrous year. Holy crap. Yeah, wow. So this scheme was just not good for Kayvon Thibodeau and his production. But Max Crosby, I mean, he's just a one-man wrecking crew. Diamador Lenorth, 4 interceptions this year. Kicking wise, Brandon Aubrey, 80%. Fantastic, didn't miss an extra point. And then AJ Cole just continues to get better, 53 yards on average per punt. But look at that, we had the number 6 offense in the league, led by Larry Henderson. We were also the 9th ranked defense in the league as well. So individually, the statistics didn't look as good on the defensive side of the ball, but drastically improved. So we had 2 home run hirings there at the coordinator positions, but more importantly, I mean, look at that. We have Larry Henderson there as the number 2 ranked person in passing yards, even over Patrick Mahomes, another Texas Tech alumni. So, okay, we're going to do this a little bit differently. I'm not going to play this game. I don't want to interfere too much, but we are going to go into the in-game simulation and see how it plays out. But boy, I'm happy, man. I mean, I think we have our franchise quarterback, and look, we talked about this. I think the scheming just didn't really set up for a good start for our guy, right? And it really showed, like, the right scheme, getting the ball to our playmakers, our number 1 receiver, and our generational tight end is going to make all the difference. So, you know, we were lucky enough to even scoop up the offensive coordinator there from Kansas City, and then let alone scoop up one of the better defensive coordinators in the entire league in Mike McDonald. Like, guys, when you guys run your franchises, think about this now, okay? All right, here we go. So I don't want to have too much influence on it. We're going to go normal speed here and then go to the end of the game. And if it's close at the end of the game, we'll watch it in slow motion. Or not slow motion, but slowly. You know what I mean? Okay, here we go. Great start right here. 1st and 5. Oof, penalty going backwards. Incomplete pass. All right. You don't want to give Mahomes too many opportunities with the ball, because this is exactly what's going to happen. They're just going to drive, and get into the end zone. But can our offense keep up? I'm just so nervous. I'm trying to do as much commentary as I can, but oh my goodness, man. I mean, this is the playoffs, and we go in and get the touchdown there. Larry Henderson to George Ash. We tie this game up in Arrowhead. We lost to this team twice this year. I think everyone's pretty well aware of that. But, oh, man, our defense, I know it's a tall task. And, oh, an interception there. Not a great start. A good response, though. as we punch it into the end zone. Another touchdown from Larry Henderson to George Ash. Our defense needs to go out and make a stop, and they get it there. That is huge. There we go. Offense is driving again. There it is. We tied this game up at 21 apiece with another huge pass from Larry Henderson. Oh, the defense is folding again just near the end of the half. That absolutely cannot happen as we enter the third quarter here. Kansas City gets the ball again, and our defense just doesn't seem to have an answer for their high-powered offense. Can we respond on the offensive side of the ball? Knocked down. We do kick a field goal. Okay, that's huge. Our offense needs to respond, though. Our offense absolutely needs to respond. That is... can't be going backwards, man. Where are we? Okay, there we are. Oh my god. I'm so nervous, guys. I really am. I really am. There it is. That's a huge pass. Come on, Larry. You got this, man. There it is. Patrick Aldridge, our third wide receiver, gets into the end zone there. Come on, guys. Come on. Come on. We need to hold him. My god, he throws the pass away there. And they get into the end zone. Marquise Brown with the touchdown. Our offense is doing everything we need to do to win a playoff game. I mean, if you're going in there and scoring 30 plus in Arrowhead, oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. Honestly, let's go ahead and watch this thing. So we're under 2 minutes left to go in this game. We're just over the 2-hour mark here in this video, but this is fantastic. This is absolutely fantastic. Here we go. We need a huge stop. Oh my goodness, that is a huge play as they force an incompletion. I believe that looks like Xavier Worthy. I'm not sure, to be quite honest with you. Let's see, change the camera. Okay, we can definitely work with that later, as they are going to run a screen to Pacheco, who is an X factor, and we do hit the 2-minute warning. Patrick Mahomes is having a masterclass performance today. Let's see, can we move this? Yeah, it doesn't look like we can. 3rd and 11. It looks like they're going to go ahead and pass this football here. Here we go. They are going to do that. Mahomes back to throw, and they're going to throw it over the middle. We force a huge incompletion here, and we are going to get the ball back. That is a huge hit on Marquise Brown, and our offense, who has done so well today, is going to get a chance to get the ball back and try and take the lead. There's no option here. You can't kick a field goal, that's for sure. Okay, here we go. We have the return here all the way to the 30-yard line. That is a great start here. Wow, look at George Ash, man. 3 touchdowns, 150 yards. I mean, this is why he was rated as the #1 overall player in this year's draft. Why he's regarded as a top 5 talent. There we have Brock Bowers in the slot down there. Here we go. Larry Henderson. You can start a legacy here. He's already done a great job with this game, and that was nearly intercepted there with the throw over the middle. Look, guys, if we lose this game, it's definitely not because of the offense, and I'm so happy with what we have in Larry Henderson as he gets it here quickly to Brock Bowers, and they do call timeout. I mean, look at that. 402 yards and 5 touchdowns with no turnovers? Come on, man. That's our franchise quarterback right there. Here we go, 3rd and 4. This is going to be 4-down territory, of course, over the middle, and it is batted down. And here we go. It comes down to this play right here. 4th and 4. You got to dial up something good here. Henderson's in the shotgun. 2 wide receivers down at the bottom of your screen. They're going to motion Bowers over. Henderson back to throw. He's going to hit Bowers, and he's going to hold on to that football, moving the chains. They're going to run a little bit of hurry-up offense here. Henderson back to throw. He's going to take the under right here. I believe that is George Ash who moves the sticks for a 1st down. Larry Henderson having himself a day. We have 1 minute and 15 seconds left to go in this game as the Raiders do call a timeout. Passing the midfield mark, they are going to run a little bit of play action here. Henderson back to throw, overshoots his receiver on the right sideline. This game is getting very, very interesting. Here we go. Hit a little bit of an audible here. Henderson back to throw, good pocket, has a man over the middle. They're going to not call a timeout. They're going to call hurry up offense. 3rd down and 2. Again, they need a touchdown here to win this game. Henderson hits the check down, breaks a tackle there. I believe that is Chuba Hubbard. It is Chuba Hubbard here. Timeout now called by Kansas City, and that's because of an injury timeout. I thought that was an interesting choice, but they didn't have one there with the injury to their defensive tackle. Bowers back into motion again. Henderson has all day to throw. Throws it over the middle. It's George Ash again. They get all the way down to the 16-yard line. Another great decision there by Larry Henderson. Here we go. We are in the red zone now. Sending another tight end into motion. This seems to be like a staple of the Kansas City styled offense. Here we go. We're going to hit the tight end there. He needs to get down, and the Raiders call their last timeout here of the game. There's 24 seconds left to go. It is do or die. We need a big play here from Larry Henderson. Bowers goes into motion. Henderson to throw. Nobody there, and it's 3rd and 5 with 21 seconds left to go in this game. Oh my goodness, my hands are sweating. This team can do it. We can win. We can move on. Here we go. Henderson back to throw. Over the middle. It's caught for the touchdown. Oh my goodness. Larry Henderson, legacy game. Over 500 yards passing, if I'm not mistaken, or it was close to 500. And that is George Ash again. His 4th touchdown of the game. Look at that absolutely beautiful throw, beating double coverage as well with the safety bracketing over the top. Oh my goodness. And we have to go for 2 here. Honestly, I would love for us to just kind of play it safe and just run the football here. You don't want a potential pick 2. And we get the 2-point conversion by throwing it. They said, you know what? Larry Henderson, he ain't missing today. He ain't missing. Unbelievable. That is a legacy drive right there by our young quarterback who is just in his 2nd year. As this thing gets booted all the way to the end zone as they get the touchback and start at the 30-yard line. Rashee Rice is having himself a day. Let's make sure to double him here late in the game. Here we go. 17 seconds left to go. Kansas City still does have both timeouts. It is Patrick Mahomes. You never rule anything out. Mahomes hits Marquise Brown, I believe that is. There, they call their first timeout. We know Harrison Butker has a leg, so nothing deep over the middle. I beg you, please. We lost to this team twice already. We cannot lose them for a 3rd time, let alone in the playoffs. But what an upset this would be if we can pull off the victory. Another quick throw over the middle. They have to call another timeout. And it looks like it's do or die time here for Kansas City, who does have no timeouts left in this game with 10 seconds left to go. Here we go. Put a guy in motion. We look like we have a cover 2 look here on the defensive side. I like that call. Here we go. Mahomes back to throw. We're generating pressure. He's going to throw it out of bounds with just 5 seconds left to go in the game. That is our rookie outside linebacker, Clay, there making the play. And I would imagine that this is a Hail Mary situation here. Mahomes back to throw. This is going to be the final play of the game. Mahomes is going deep. And it is batted down. The Las Vegas Raiders get a huge upset in Kansas City after losing to them twice earlier this year. And they get it when it matters most. But, oh my goodness, on the shoulders of George Ash and more importantly, Larry Henderson. That is a dynamic duo that we're going to have for so many years to come. Andy Reid waddling off the field. Larry Henderson legacy game. Absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Okay, so I anticipated this video kind of going at that 2-hour mark, but oh my God. I mean, dude. I mean, both of these quarterbacks played their hearts out, but the difference is the 2 touchdowns by Larry Henderson, right? I mean, Mahomes played a fantastic game, and 9 out of 10 times, you're not going to get a better quarterback performance than this in the playoffs, but Larry Henderson just outdid himself today, man. He put the team on his back. Rushing wise, and let's just take a look at our team here. Chuba Hubbard had a pretty solid day, as well as Larry Henderson rushing the ball as well. George Ash, Brock Bowers. I mean, look at this. George Ash had 4 touchdowns, man. 15 receptions for 187 yards. Wow. And I mean, our defense didn't do a whole lot. I mean, we saw that, but that is a huge win in Arrowhead. Oh my goodness. As we move on here into the divisional round, a huge upset. I mean, to go into Kansas City against Patrick Mahomes, you need a quarterback who can do it. And now we know that we have a guy in Larry Henderson who can go stride for stride with literally any freaking quarterback in the league. We get the win here against Kansas City, a major upset, probably one of the biggest upsets in recent memory here in the NFL. And now we have to take on another fantastic quarterback. It's going to be C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. I mean, who else would have gotten Player of the Week? And oh, never mind, Desmond Ridder is still a god. here in this Madden as well. Okay, let's go ahead here. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to go full game and watch this simulation. I mean, look, the reality of it is, okay, and it's going to be hard to string together these wins time and time again against these high caliber opponents. But look, we know the potential of Larry Henderson. He literally has the potential to be the best quarterback in the league. I mean, he just played like it in Kansas City. Look, we can do it. We can do it. I have the utmost faith. It's really going to just come down to, can our defense adjust? I mean, this is a top 10 unit, and I know we're playing Mahomes, but this is another very high caliber quarterback that we have to be wary of. So I would love to see them play a lot better. But look, if our offense is playing the way that it was playing in Kansas City, and we have just a slightly better defense, I mean, we can run the table here. So here we go. We have the ball here to start off this game. We are moving the ball so well, and we go down and score a touchdown here. AJ Cole's going to boot that thing over to the Texans here, who have a 13-4 season. And look at them. I mean, they're just driving down the field as well. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful throw right there. Let's see, 3rd and 15 here. 13-yard reception. Are they going to go for it? That's the question. They do. They get the first down. That is a huge call. 3rd down and 5 and a 13-yard touchdown to Brock Bowers. That's how we do the damn thing. Our defense, though, needs to step up, man. I mean, this is embarrassing. This is really embarrassing. And I think Brandon Aubrey missed a field goal as well because we are down by 1. This defense is actually embarrassing. There we go. Finally get a stop there. Jerome Ford trying to push us out of the goal line there. Do we get a first down? No, we are just short a yard. So the one time our defense gets a stop, we do not capitalize on that. But it was really bad field position to start off. Okay, trying to get a 2-minute drill together here. Oof, and we give the ball right back. That is not good. 4 seconds left. Texans kick a field goal, and we are down by 8 here. All right, another huge stop by the defense here. Come on, we need a response. We need a response. Those are really good passes going on here. 4th and 1. They do score the touchdown to Jackson Smith and Jigba. They go for 2, and they get it here to George Ash. Oh my goodness, our quarterback is clutch. Holy crap. Okay, our defense coming in clutch as well. Now we have an opportunity to take a lead in this game for the first time since the first quarter, I believe. 4th and 1. Are they going to go for it? No, they punt it. I really would have loved to see them go for it in that situation. And they score a touchdown there, and that is exactly why. And they turn over the ball. Oh, man. That is tough. That is a tough pill to swallow there. And it's intercepted by Christian Harris, and things are unraveling here in Houston. Oh, that's it, guys. That's how our season comes to a close. And look, I will tell you this, right? As we head into next episode, I mean, we have everything lined up for us, okay? And, like, this is the first time we made the playoffs, right? What were the expectations this year? I believe we set our goal to, like, 7 wins. Nonetheless, though, right, and our defense has to get a lot better. I think this is the best our defense has been, but it's moments like this where we need to step up and play much better as a unit. So, very underwhelming way to end the season. I mean, as any playoff loss will do to you, but I am really proud of this team and the direction that we're heading into. So, we just got extended for another 5 years, which secures us all the way to the 2032 season. I'm going to advance to the offseason. I'm going to leave it off there, but I do want to make sure that we do retain our coordinators, which is going to be so important to me as we head into this next season. And more importantly, let's see if there was a dev upgrade there for Larry Henderson, because he more than deserves it after the campaign that he put together this year and the way that he played in the playoffs. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade our players here. Tough loss, right? And Houston ended up making the Super Bowl. So, I mean, props to them. Like, they deserve it. That's a damn good team. And we knew that heading into that game. So, here we go. We're going to take a look here. George Ash is only a star, which is incredible. Larry Henderson did not go up in depth trait, which is incredible to me. The second leading passer in the league doesn't even go up in depth trait. Looks like both of our tackles retired. But Njigba did go up to a superstar. Bowers did go up to an X Factor. And look, regardless of whatever the dev trait says, this guy is outperforming it. He is not a normal. I mean, he is a top quarterback in the league. Yeah, I mean, he played like it. He proved it. And then this is what our defensive unit looks like as well. So we'll leave it off at that. A very, very lengthy episode as we've gone through 4 years here with the Oakland Raiders. But we have now secured another contract extension all the way until the 2032 season. We'll leave it off at that. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this, hit that subscribe button to, make sure you get notified about that next episode of Raiders franchise. But until then, we'll see you guys all later. Peace.